Test, test. There we go.
¿Tú le has abierto página de Instagram, página de
Sí,
YouTube?
sí, pero ahorita es que le estoy poniendo como
All
más
right,
corazón,
so
porque lo he hecho así como,
can you pop your headset in
no
just
me
to make sure
dio,
you hear
o sea,
me?
como que,
Good on
este
yours.
no me dio
I'm gonna get the
resultado,
other
no
two
sé
mics
qué, y
and
en
we'll walk
verdad,
away.
gracias a Dios por las marquitas que como que me han ido bien,
Test, test.
con los hacks me ha ido suficiente. Entonces, pero la idea no es esa, ¿no? Porque al final, pero ahorita es que le estoy poniendo como más corazón, porque lo he hecho así como
Can you pop your headset in just to make sure you hear me?
100,000.
On yours. I'm gonna get the other two mics.
en verdad, gracias a Dios por las marquitas que como que me han ido bien,
Test, test.
con los hacks.
Here we go. Yes. It's a mic. You could throw it to anyone, or if you guys have any questions, you mentioned you might. Don't worry, from there you're good. But it's really just trying to spread them out so that if anyone has a question, we toss the mic around.
Okay, excellent.
Test, test. All right, go. Yes. We introduced a little new tech to try to. If you guys have any questions, for those of you that have been here before, we have the whole other table and the other monitor. So it's really just trying to spread them out so that if anyone has a question, we toss the mic around. But what do I got to do? I'm already. So I should be able to go here. Oh, I don't need to do that one. It's a mic. Just a little standing. New tech. All right. For those of you that have been here before, we have the whole other table and the other monitor. So it's really just trying to spread them out so that if needed anymore. But shouldn't be. Right, no, that's on my computer, it's muted. But aren't you hearing audio on the, what are you hearing? You're seeing me talk and not hearing? But, yeah, because look, this is the, here's the webcast, like, this is live. Hey, hey, hey. Let me introduce you to one of the guests you might not have met. Right, no, that's on my computer, it's muted. But aren't you hearing audio on the, what are you hearing? You're seeing me talk and not hearing? Let's just get this audio right. Yeah, so this is picking up audio for sure. Just here's the see if anyone on the stream is chiming in. Hey, hey. Let me introduce you to audio on the stream to see if you're hearing it. Right, no, that's on my computer. It's muted. But aren't you hearing audio on the? What are you hearing? Yeah, seeing me talking. Yeah, so this is picking up audio for sure. Just here's the see if anyone on the stream is chiming in. Hey, hey. Right, but that means audio on the stream to see if you're hearing it. Right, no, that's on my computer. Aren't you hearing audio on the? What are you hearing? Yeah, seeing me talking. Yeah, so this is picking up audio for sure. Just here's the see if anyone on the stream is chiming in. Hey, hey. Right, but that means audio on the stream to see if you're hearing it. Right, no, that's. Test, test. All right. I put a new mic on to see if it catches less. Anyhow, let's just pay attention to that. So I forgot, what do I put on this one? What I put here doesn't matter, right? Because the stream will see me standing, right?
Mic check 1, 2.
Well, it's not supposed to do that.
Mic check 1, 2.
All right.
Check 1, 2.
All right, let's just ride. Sorry for the delay. Trying to streamline some of this tech, and it's not my strong suit. But everybody on the stream, if you can give some feedback on the audio from me, and then I have some mics out there for people that are here to see how they sound, and then we'll tweak it so it works good. Also on the stream, you see me standing, yeah? Yeah, okay.
I check one too.
But thank you guys for coming out. Some people are new, but the ones that are new, we have met, so that's a first. Thank you very much. Hello. This is Wizards of Ecom. We meet every Saturday from 1 to 3:30. We have for over 1,500 meetup events at this point, over 10 years. And every Saturday, the structure of our events is we start with a beginner hour from 1 to 2 p.m. and then from 2 to 3:30 we have a topic of the week. Today's topic, I don't think we've had in a year, but it's just an AMA. It's like an Ask Me Anything open topic, so it's not just AMA, but it's any questions on anything beginner or whatnot. But since our 1 to 2 p.m. is a beginner hour anyway, the entire segment today is pretty much, there's no interruption between 2 p.m. and our topic of the week. So it's all pretty much the same thing. I will try to prioritize, I will prioritize beginner questions in the beginner hour, and framing an advanced question as, for beginners doing X, that doesn't count as a beginner question. Some announcements for the group. I feel like cognizant of my ums and ahs when you're here, and I'm like, I'm about to hear a bell. Some announcements for the group. This Thursday, is it the tank? Right. This Thursday, some of you may see it on social media, I joined Toastmasters, but they're having a networking event. I'm obviously inviting, it's not just Toastmasters, don't worry, you're not gonna get pulled into our cult or anything like that. But it's a really cool group of other people in Miami, professionals, that I think would be a great event. I've met some really cool people there. John is from there. Yourself, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name. Kayla. Miguel. Who are also now part of the Wizards of Ecom. So I think it'll be a great opportunity. I'm gonna be there. So obviously I'm gonna be talking e-commerce a lot and bouncing back and forth between that and learning how to speak better. But I think it'd be a great opportunity to come out. There's no charge to go, but obviously your beer tab and your food tab is your own.
At the tank?
The Tank Brewery, the one we go to.
Oh, okay.
I'll put out an announcement and I'll put the address out there again, but I'm not gonna create a full-fledged meetup group on it.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like if I do, most people don't like to read, and they're gonna get there and realize, well, why aren't you talking about Amazon? And that's not, like, we're guests at this thing. But if I thought it wasn't a perfect fit, if I didn't think it was a perfect fit, I wouldn't be doing this. So I highly recommend you guys coming out. I'd love to see you there, and I'll be making a few more announcements during the week. What else, announcement-wise? I feel like I'm missing an announcement, Andres. Anything? No? Oh, one announcement is we're starting our Shopify classes back. That is not an Amazon meetup thing that we do. That's a totally different track. And towards the end of the last year, around September, when we made the move from our other location to here, that got put on pause. But expect those to start within the next 4 to 5 weeks, and there'll be 1 or 2 of them a month. They will happen at the same time as this one, unfortunately, so you might have to make a tough choice. But the Shopify meetup will have classes in the conference room. So they'll happen at the same time as this one, totally different topics. Some are geared more towards your Shopify site. This one will be geared more towards third-party marketplaces, Amazon, and the normal stuff that we talk about. There'll be guest speakers. It'll be primarily organized by Andres here in the front and myself. We'll also be starting back up the YouTube one. For those of you that were on that, that'll also be starting around 4 to 5 weeks out. I'm super excited about that one. I'll be leading that one. That'll be a once a month event for those of you that want to know YouTube and how to leverage that in your business. We'll have that, and then our other one that will be starting back, and that will probably be once a month. That will be once a month, but at 4 to 6:30, so you wouldn't have to choose between the two, is one that I might be changing the topic on, but some of you remember, and it's a course creator one. And it's to teach people how to start making money selling digital courses, starting digital courses and selling them. So I find I might change the name on that one because when you talk about starting a digital product or a course to sell, what you're really talking about is probably how to build community, and a lot of different things that are not so course related. And I find that most of the people that have shown interest in the course creator track that we have, they're also just as interested in just extra income streams, primarily passive income streams. So there is a chance that I'll change the focus of that one to, what we're gonna talk about is probably gonna be the same, but the packaging of it is probably gonna be more towards passive income streams. So if we find a cool way, where you can make, you know, an extra $4,000 or $5,000 a month, and that can help your PPC or help you launch a new product, I don't think anyone here is opposed to that. But rather than force that into our Saturday events, which are on a specific topic, there'll be a separate track for that. So a lot more stuff's coming in the next 4 to 5 weeks. I will share it out amongst our community. You can see the different events that are coming out, and if any conflict, you just have to make a choice as to which one you want to attend, all right? Attend mine, right? If Andres is hosting one day and I'm doing it and he has more people in there, I think I will have a little bit. How are you? Welcome. Yeah. Sponsors, you see some of the sponsors we have as banners. You're actually not seeing what's there. Why is that? Oh, there we go. So, sponsors, there's zero chance my wife would allow me to host 1,500 meetup events and have this location and let everything be free. If it was up to my wife, I think we'd be charging at least $100 per person. I want to keep it free, and we will. The only way we're able to make this happen is with some amazing sponsors. If you're working with their competitor, I'm not saying that you should switch, but if you do see them at a conference, go say hi, take a selfie, tag them, the empanadas, the coffee that you're having, the place that we're able to have and host, I guess, our home base to host these events, it is because of them. I would have lost that fight to wifey many years ago in being able to do this. So I truly am very thankful for the sponsors. Our podcast, I'll make the announcement this week to everyone else, but for those of you that are here, we just welcomed a new guest onto the podcast, Raul Ulloa, who'll be a co-host of the Wizards of Ecom podcast in Español. So that will be now Alexis and Raul. I'm very excited for that. He's a wealth of information. For me, what's even more important is he's morally, ethically aligned with what we believe in here is sellers helping sellers. He's an actual seller that's in the trenches doing this. And I'm super excited. On the English side, it's still just me. We're pushing 400 episodes, and that's absolutely mental to me. Anybody who does here, that does listen to the podcast, our Wizards of Ecom podcast in English, it's me. I can assure you, any feedback you can give me is appreciative. Talking into a mic with nobody on the other side that you see is, it takes a bunch. So to push 400 episodes, I'm telling you, when somebody comes up, even if they're like, you know what, your audio sounds a little high here, I'm just like, oh my God, you were listening. Like that's such a high for me. So like any feedback you can give is appreciated. Yeah, Andre?
Does the in-person event take place?
Which in-person events? The Shopify, YouTube, and Course Creator one, I'm assuming? I will create that an announcement Monday or Tuesday. Let's call it end of Tuesday, and I would approximate that it's going to be about 5 weeks out. One other event that we have, and this is completely unrelated to business, so I'll gloss over this real fast. One of my New Year's, I don't want to call it a New Year's resolution because that's pretty much mean that thing's going to fail, I think, when you say it that way. But one of my goals this year was to start doing something for fun. I love work, but according to my wife and the doctors and my coaches and everybody, it's not. That's called work. And I should have a hobby that I'm not trying to monetize, which is almost impossible for me. But as a kid, I used to like playing Dungeons and Dragons, so there is a Dungeons and Dragons meetup group that's starting in 3 weeks. It's Thursday nights. It's Thursday nights. You probably will never hear me talk about, you won't hear me talk about it again, especially after this clap, right? But like, you will not hear me talk about it again, but you may see it out there. If you're wondering like, what in the world is Carlos doing in a Dungeons and Dragons thing, let alone hosting it? It's my way of finding a hobby. I have I can't figure out how to monetize a Dungeons and Dragons meetup event, so it sounds safe. Okay. What else? I think announcement-wise, we are good. I swear, I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, we have a new addition. If you haven't seen, anybody that wants to get does anyone not know what this is? By the way, 'cause I don't want. It's not, but yes, it's Harry Potter. It's the sorting hat, and if you watched Harry Potter, you put this sorting hat on, and it chooses the house that you're going to be in. And let's see what they say about me.
Oh my God, Hawks.
Gryffindor. Okay. So anybody that wants to try it and get a photo or a video, you're more than welcome to. I just popped it on here to see. But it's a new thing. For anybody that doesn't know what it is, I feel the need to say it because you hear wizard and I just said Dungeons and Dragon and there's this weird hat and it's like, what do they do here? Right? Now this is a business meetup event, but these are two hobbies of mine, which is Star Wars and Harry Potter. So, and I guess now you know Dungeons and Dragons. That's enough. So beginner hour. Tom, weren't we talking about something yesterday? I really feel like I'm missing an announcement and I'm not. Like, was there?
Talk about any trade shows, any events that are coming up, summer barbecue.
Oh, we do have an annual event. That is, I have that down there. I'll be announcing that this week. We do have an annual event. It's in August though, so we got a bit.
Are you doing anything with the meetups on, we're talking about side hustle kind of thing?
I mentioned that one now, yeah. No, but we do have an annual grill and chill picnic that we do every year. It also doubles. We used to have it, and then 2 weeks later we had our 1 year anniversary, and I put our annual anniversary, and I put them together. It's 100% free for everyone to attend. It's kind of like just giving back. It's where I try to encourage people to bring your loved ones who wonder or are skeptical. What are you doing with your Saturdays? And are you really working? And like, who are these people you're around? Bring your dogs, bring your kids, bring your significant others. Like, I encourage you to do that. Several of you have been to the picnic before. Yeah.
No, is there another place where we can learn about these events?
Yes.
The ones you mentioned, is there a calendar that we can follow or something?
Yeah. So, I created this amazing calendar and no one followed the calendar. So it exists somewhere. What we do have is there's 2 spots. One of them would be, we have our Miami Meetup group that's on Meetup, and everything gets announced there. I can share the link before you leave, but if you were to look up Amazon Seller Meetup Miami, we come up. We're the largest Amazon Seller Meetup group in the world. That's my only vanity metric, right? But you'd find it there, and everything South Florida gets announced there. The other ones that I mentioned, the Shopify and all that other stuff, you should be able to just click on my name and see all the other things that I organize on Meetup, and Meetup acts as sort of a hub. The other one would be to should be able to go to wizardsofecom.com/free, which I think I sent you that link.
Yep.
And then that'll get you on the email list. Everything that I announce will be there, but you need to make sure you don't have me spammed, you don't have me marked as spam or anything like that, or you're not gonna see anything. I can say, because of the amount of events that we have, even if I message you just to say, this has been announced and this is tomorrow, you will receive an uncomfortable amount of emails from me. But I mean, we have a lot of events, so I don't know of a way around it yet, but I'm open to suggestions. Okay? All right, if I think of the announcement later on, we'll just get to it. But what else? Oh yeah, let me stick it out there since I brought it up. But anybody else that is local to the area or not too far from here that wanted to come with us, because I'm going to start posting on social, inviting anyone who wants to come to Toastmasters.
I want to go. Thursday, what time?
Thursdays, it starts at 7:25 in the morning. As a matter of fact, because I know it's a drive for you, if you were to come down, work from here for the day, you guys could, so you don't have to, so there's no excuse on that. But if it was too much, they have like chapters, I think, like in every city block, it feels like. But like there's chapters anywhere. I'd rather you go wherever it's convenient for you, but obviously I would love you go to the Doral one because it's the best in the world. Yeah. So.
It's 7:25 a.m.
A.m. Yeah, and it's done at 8:30. Like they're OCD about it, which I love. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely love. Very, very, very punctual on it. I think you should go. I think it's great. I think it's going to help you in your business. It's going to help you with your factories. It's going to help you with everything.
So we missed what you're talking about. What is Thursday? Can you repeat it?
Thursday, it is Thursday, yes? Thursday at what time? John?
Well, if you can be there at 7:15, you can actually talk to somebody, but 7:25 is Doral Toastmasters. So So actually Miguel and I are both in, we're all Toastmasters, and what it does is you just get used to speaking.
But
And you
but
get feedback. How do I talk? How do I represent myself? It's
and
an
you
inherent
realize
skill.
don't talk like Carlos, yeah. But
No, you put yourself down, but you're actually an amazing speaker.
yeah, I got
Because he got up and did a speech, and then he won a ribbon, he's already done his first speak, and between him, Moises, and now, soon
Yeah.
Andre, we're putting him in a headlock soon, we're just helping.
But
That's all it is.
right, but this Thursday in the morning is every Thursday's Toastmasters that he described, but this Thursday evening, I think it's Thursday evening or Friday evening, is a
Right.
networking event at the Tank Brewery, right? Free to attend, but you handle your own drinks and food. What I'm saying is I'm gonna be there. There's a lot of other ecom people that I've invited that are just business owners. They might not ever want anything to do with Toastmasters or speaking. I totally get it if you don't want to. But it's just to hang out and we're gonna talk shop and we're gonna meet a lot of other cool professionals. So it's gonna be networking. And if there's enough of us, maybe we dominate or bully the conversation into e-commerce, right? Yeah, Tom?
I'm okay with
Just
that.
a little thing about public speaking. They actually rank the top 5 things that most people were fearful of. Number 2 was death. Number 1 was public speaking.
I totally see that.
Basically says that you'd rather be in the coffin than delivering the eulogy.
Well,
So it's an amazing thing to get out there and public speak because it's a skill set that you learn and you
Yeah, it is great.
now and in the future. So
Yeah, it's great.
It's hard, but it's not that. I don't want to say it's not that hard, but getting up is the hardest part.
Yeah, but I think it's easier when you're around a bunch of friends, stuff like that, so totally. Yeah.
Anything near San Jose, California?
Toastmasters wise, 100. Oh, events wise? We have chapters in Orange County, San Diego, and Los Angeles. Most of them are virtual now, but if you reach out to me, I can connect you with the person who runs the chapter out there. But we have chapters in Orlando, Miami, Tampa, Orange County, LA, San Diego, and the United Kingdom. No? All right, beginner hour. What happens here, you don't have to do this raising hand thing, but sometimes it's a little more orderly to do that. If you have a question, you can just ask. We're prioritizing beginner questions. An amazing question right now is, I don't know what to ask, right? So it is a beautiful Saturday in Miami. You could be anywhere and you're here. Ask the questions, right? There's no dumb questions. I've been selling, I'm gonna say successfully, which means I failed 80% of the time and it allowed me to crush it for 20. For 15 years, over 15 years in this, I think I can answer any question you have on this. And this is a sales-free zone, so it is not to pitch you on anything, right? Let me answer his question first, though. You're right. He asked an amazing question in the back. Can you toss him the mic so you can just ask it again so everyone has the benefit of, by the way, this mic right here, try not to hit anyone in the head with it, but if you do, it's a cushion, it will not do anything. There's a mic in it. When you're throwing it, it doesn't catch anything, but when you don't even have to hold it up, you can just be near it. And it's the benefit of the people watching on the stream. They get to hear the question, otherwise it's like this weird voyeur thing. Go for it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get started into the Amazon selling, and I was speaking to this young lady last week, 2 weeks ago, and she mentioned that for me to get started, I should look into Helium 10, and you also mentioned about Jungle Scout. And
I mentioned Jungle Scout, and it sounds like you may have discovered one called Zoof as well.
So correct.
Okay. So what I answered you briefly on, and I wanted to hold that question until now, because I think a lot of people could benefit from it in the beginner hour, is Helium 10 is a great tool. I'm preferable to Jungle Scout, and what it is for no one that knows is it's a product research tool on the face of it. Like, it can do a lot more, but for the sake of this, it's like you want to know, no matter what you do, and there's a lot of different models to sell on Amazon, any model, anywhere, but let's talk about Amazon. Regardless of the model you have, your number one problem in the beginning is, what do I sell? Like, what can I profitably sell? So Helium 10 inserts itself for people that want to start their own brand. Important here, not someone that wants to go to the store and resell stuff, not that you want to like crush garage sales on the weekend, not if you want to make money using AI and creating crossword puzzle books on Kindle, not if you want to do print on demand on Amazon. There's a lot of different ways to sell, but if you want to do private label, which is creating your own brand from scratch And sometimes that's getting this phone case, slapping your label on it from something in China and sending it over. Doesn't have to be an invention. If you're doing that, Helium 10 and Jungle Scout are the two 800-pound gorillas in the room when it comes to those product research stuff.
What was the other one?
Helium 10 and Jungle Scout. I'm Helium 10,
Medium tank.
yeah, and Jungle Scout.
What about seller amp?
I don't think Seller Amp is bad. I just don't find it to be anywhere near what Jungle Scout and Helium 10 are. I don't think you're gonna be bad off if you choose either Jungle Scout or Helium 10. I personally like using Data Dive, which is a totally different tool. And I don't know if you agree, I think it works. I feel like I like it better with Jungle Scout, but
What's the context of the question?
Seller amp is for retail arbitrage.
right, yeah.
So if you go
Right.
out for scan, you need a seller amp. You know, you don't need a human temp for retail
Right.
arbitrage. Yeah, that's different things.
Which it basically ties into the same question. Is he met a young lady last week who he's been coming for about a month or two, hasn't got started yet, and the person said, listen, what you need to do is you need to go get Helium 10 and you need to get started. And I was like, are you talking about private label? And he looked at me like, so I was like, okay.
It depends on the context, right?
Depends on the context of what you want to sell. So if you want to do private label, Helium 10 and Jungle Scout, both of them are great. I'm partial to Jungle Scout just because I like Jungle Scout and Data Dive. That's it. Like, they're both fine. Neither one of them is 100% accurate. They're close enough. You don't need to be 100% accurate at that stage, right? If you're not going to do private label, you do not need either one of them. Like, it sounds like what you're talking about is more like arbitrage. Seller Amp. You do not need Helium 10 or Jungle Scout. If you're going to do wholesale, I think Smart Scout is great, which is a banner up there. That gives you 25% off their first 3 months if you wanted to, and I think I do get an affiliate, but that's not why I'm recommending it. But for wholesale, I think they're really good. Don't get Helium 10 or Jungle Scout. So this begs the question then: what models of selling are you aware of, and which one do you want to do? And then I could let you know probably the software stack, if any, that you need to get started. Yeah.
I said, I still don't know.
Okay, then let's back it up.
Not
It's
private
the beginner
label.
hour. What I like to ask in this scenario is, what's your budget, not how much money you own to your name. Basically, what are you willing to risk because you're starting a business? What are you willing to risk to start this business? What are you willing to risk investing in this business? You're gonna do your due diligence. We're gonna try to eliminate as much risk as possible, but like, what are you willing to put into this business? So what is your budget? What is your time, what is it?
About 3 or 5,000,
5,000.
right?
Okay. How much time can you put into this new business per week?
Probably like 10 hours.
Okay. Okay. So 5K, 10 hours a week. The other one I'd want to know, there's two more. One of them I want to know now is the goal. Like, why are you doing this?
I want
Go ahead.
to work with my son.
You want to what?
I want to work with my son to do something with him.
Damn, that's so awesome. I love that. I really like that. Okay, you just want to do something with your son. You're going to put in the 5K capital to help get something started.
Right.
Okay. The next one I like to ask is I call soft skills, right? So soft skills, I don't want it to get too complicated, but I could tell you a product right now that could crush it on TikTok. You don't strike me as a TikTok person, right? But if you tell me you have this side hobby where you like kill it on TikTok and you're super comfortable on video and you got this set up and you know all the filters, you know all that, that'll open some options for me that I wouldn't give to somebody else. If you tell me that you have the largest soccer community for beginners in Miami, I would probably immediately start looking at some soccer related stuff for you to leverage your community, but I wouldn't recommend a product that requires community and an email list or anything like that for somebody who didn't. So I call that a soft skill. I think a lot of people skip over that.
What's your superpower?
What's your superpower? If you don't know one right now, or you think everyone has one. If you don't know it right now, I won't put you on the hot seat for it. But if you happen to know one, feel free to blurt it out. But with those four things together, I could give you something. What I can tell you is 5K takes you out of the private label conversation. So good news here is you're not going to have to spend a monthly on Helium 10, right? 5K is not enough for that. 5K right now is probably too low, I feel, for the Amazon wholesale.
No, it's not.
I think, I think it's too low.
I think to start is fine.
You need a money to replenish.
Right.
That's
To start,
to
to
start.
start.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I just feel like you're gonna be spinning your wheels. I feel like you don't have a lot of room for error. I feel like your experience level's not where it's at. I mean, if you told me, I promise you, I'm not gonna buy anything unless I come to Ramon and you and a few other people here, and I'm gonna vet who I'm buying so we can see that you're not missing anything, and like, I'd feel safer with that. But 5K, you could just order from the wrong supplier, they don't have a restocking fee, and you're just stuck with a lot of inventory and no more budget. So like, that's my concern. But you started wholesale with 5K. I've started it with less before. Possible. What I don't think you do is you don't have enough time during the week, in my opinion, with 10 hours out the gate with only 5K to put into the learning curve in the beginning that I feel like comes with wholesale. That's gonna break down to rough, I mean, even if you hired a virtual assistant to do the product research, to give you a lead list, I think you're gonna be doing more than 2 hours a day in calls. And we haven't even got into like receiving and packaging and shipping and finding 3PL and all that other jazz. But it's tight, it's possible if you wanted to force it.
I think it's pessimistic. I think you can do that. You would have to have soft skills in analytics. I mean, really.
Do you have soft skills in analytics? Are you like an Excel nerd?
Well, I'm familiar with Excel, yeah.
Like you know it's the green X, or you're like really good at it? I know it's the green X, like, I'm not picking on you, like,
I know, I've used it before,
you've used it before.
yeah.
Okay, so I wouldn't call that a superpower.
I will recommend retail arbitrage for them now.
So 5K is enough for retail arbitrage. It's more than enough for retail arbitrage. My concern with retail arbitrage is I think it's a big pitfall nowadays. I used to recommend it. One of the first meetups we had at the beginning of this year, I started with, I try to mix up the topics we have of the meetups through the year. And even though I'm not doing arbitrage, I will make sure that we get somebody in here and we talk about arbitrage. But with the amount of IP complaints that are going on, the fact that Amazon has not rolled out a program to help anyone in the retail arbitrage space in a decade, everything they're building out is for brands to basically help them not have to deal with resellers. I find arbitrage, I think it would be too risky for you to do. What that leaves for me is KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, which I'll talk to you about, don't worry, you don't have to write a book. And it's gonna leave you merch by Amazon, probably not gonna make a ton of money for quite some time, and then it's gonna leave you Amazon influencer program. What are you gonna say, Andres?
How can I build a reliable team of virtual assistants to support my Amazon private label business long term, given the time constraints of a full-time job? I've used Upwork and Fiverr.
Yeah. Can you remind me to answer that question once I do this one? It's a good question. But Amazon influencer program, I think, should be one of the ones you start with. Even if you pick another one, which I do think you should, you have 5K to put into this, why not? What the Amazon influencer program is, it costs no money to start. And once you're approved, I don't want to bog you down with like, if you find it interesting, there's several of us in the group that could give you information on how to get started. I don't want to like muddy the water here on all the like the little, you got to get this amount of this and this amount of that to get approved. It's 100% possible to get approved, even if you're not an influencer. Just leave it at that. But you're just going to go around your house, you don't have to buy anything, and you're just going to be like, oh, this remote, and you're going to leave you're going to review it on video. You on the video or you not on the video? Don't get lost in that. And just talk about, you got to do more than just why this remote is so good or why it's better than the last one you had, and that you recommend it. You post it, it appears as a video on the Amazon listing, and now when Bruce goes to buy another remote on Amazon, he's like, I like to look at a video and see if this remote is good, and he clicks on the video and he looks at it, he buys it. Amazon pays you a commission for the purchase that Bruce made of that product and anything else that was in his cart at the time. At its height, when we were doing it, and I started doing it with my wife just so that I wasn't up here recommending something to someone that I'm being hypocritical and that I didn't do. So my wife and I did it. At the height, we got it to 3K. We didn't touch it for like 6 months, and it's still doing like 300 a month. Tom, at the height, where were you on the Amazon influencer program?
I'm not in terms of the amount of money I made.
At the height, and if I don't know if you're sharing where you're at now.
About 11,500 was the most I ever made
In a month?
And then now it's probably about half, just because Amazon has let so many people in.
So he's only doing 60,000 a year now, right? So at that scale, there's some work, right? But he did it at 5 reviews a day, starting with stuff around his house. Anyhow, we won't get too deep into it. If it's of interest, we can go deeper in it with other people. That's good money, right? Heck, if you're starting with 5K, the amount that you could expect to receive off that wouldn't be that. So it's very easy for you and your son to get something cool going that you can do together around the Amazon Influencer Program and not have to touch your 5K. Yeah, you're gonna spend $5 of it to get a clicker, a little Bluetooth clicker. So when you put your phone here and you wanna do a review, you don't have to go up and hit it, go, and then stop it. You just go click. The other thing that I would recommend with a 5K budget, that I don't recommend that often, but with what you described, would be KDP. So KDP is Kindle Direct Publishing. It's kdp.amazon.com. It's free to join, right? It's my favorite word, free. Free to join. And what it is when you write a book, which none of us here, I'm not gonna tell you to write a book, but when you write a book, or you create a 15-page thing on indoor plants, or you get AI to create a crossword puzzle for you, and you make the crossword puzzle about the top 20 hip hop artists in 2024. I know someone that did all the words that have to do with the month of Ramadan, targeted for, I'm imagining Muslims. And you just have an infinite number of things that you could do and create, and you're gonna you could either learn how to format it. I'm not a fan of that. I'm gonna go to Fiverr, I'm gonna pay somebody $15, they're gonna format it, and then I'm gonna upload it to KDP. It sells on Amazon, and Amazon pays me a royalty. That's it. It really doesn't get simpler than that. You are not gonna get rich off KDP. But if you use a tool like BookBolt, which is gonna cost you $49, mind you, you have 5K now that you're not touching. You use a tool like BookBolt for $49, BookBolt will do all that formatting for you, and it'll let you create an infinite number of templates that you have to where you can just upload a bunch of stuff to KDP on any topic you want. And then once it's in KDP, you just hit a button, and it can be turned into a paperback book. So I don't know what you do for a living, but if you decide you're gonna have a networking event and you wanna go there and have some real paperback books for you to sign, you have books, you get author copies for like $1. So really great way. If you started publishing a couple books a week, totally doable with BookBolt, there's no reason why you can't be at like, I don't know, $1,200 to $2,000 a month in like 3 months. So if you're starting with 5K, I feel like that's a fair number to be shooting for, right? Those are the tools I would start for. If I was you starting right now, I would try to build your capital up. I think you do want to move towards private label. That's in my opinion, that's where the real growth potential is at, is having your own brand. Does that help?
Thank you.
You sure? Because like,
No, I'm good. We'll have to more.
you're good. You're like, I'm not coming back. That was not what I wanted to hear, right? But if you do decide to get Helium-10, I have an affiliate link I could give you. Oh, hold up. Yeah.
Hi, I have, two questions about what you were just saying. When you were talking about private label, when you were talking about private label and let's say, like a product like mine, it's a little like, I don't want to say weird, but it's kind of like, what's like a good like MOQ? Forget the factory, let's just say it was up to you. What would you do as an MOQ?
So I think what you should start with is understanding your lead time. Understand the logistics process. Let's say that it takes 60 days to make. What's a win for you? Like, is it fair to say you're gonna be able to sell 5 a day of your product? I just need a placeholder number, like 3,
Yeah.
3 a day, 2 a
Say-
day, whatever you wanna give me.
Say, let's say 3, let's just go on
3 a
the
day.
low end. Let's
So
say
3 a
low
day.
end.
So 3 a day, it takes 60 days to make, right? So it's 180 units. Let's say it's gonna take another 40 days to get from, with like waiting on a container and a shipyard and an inspection hold, and like, say another 40 days to get to the mainland, so where it can get to your 3PL. And then what is it now to get into FBA? From, anybody, what do you wanna call it, 6 weeks? Let's give it another 40 days, right? The Red Sea War, taking over Panama might help, no.
And then the placement from
Right.
one place to the other.
Right, so,
We're currently getting sent to East Coast, so that's 60 days instead of 40.
yeah, so let's add in 100 more days there. So that's 300. 300, and where were we? 80, we're 380. Right, so then, that's not bad. You can get away with almost anything in that regard. But for that, I'd like to have, I used to want to have 50% overlap, but that died a long time ago. I'd like to have 200% more. So that would put you at, what is that? I want to do public math. I'm on like very little sleep. Say you need 1,000 to 1,500 units, 1,000 units. For most people, that's not going to be the case, because most people don't want to get into a brand that's only going to do 3 units a day unless it's a big ticket item. But a lot of the times, the factories will have 2,000 piece, minimum order quantities. That's pretty standard. As a matter of fact, that's, if I had to guess, I would say that's where yours should be, between 2 and 5K.
Units.
Right, is that what the factory's asking for?
No, actually, no. When I initially spoke to them, it was 1,200, and then they were gonna go even lower. It's kinda like, yeah. That's
Yeah,
why I'm asking, I'm like, it's, because first it was, then I decided to make a box of 2. So that's why I'm like, okay, so,
Yeah, I think with the way logistics are, like, yeah, I would order, I don't think you're bad at 2,000 units. Yeah, but you don't wanna run out, right?
so, yeah, sorry.
Do you have a warehouse?
Where
Where you
Where
put all
would
this
it
stuff?
Amazon?
Where you
Yeah.
put it?
Well, right now, I don't know, right now I told them the Texas,
That's a
the
big thing to
Texas
determine for me
location.
how much I wanna order, because, if I'm gonna go direct to my warehouse and then into FBA and see how I kinda sell, I don't wanna necessarily put all of this into Amazon right now,
Right.
and I'm gonna get hit with storage fees,
No,
especially if
do
we're
I,
ramping up.
technically, no, I do have a place, like,
Yeah, how many units can you store in your place?
a lot.
Okay, well, that's good. So if you really believe in your product, then you can probably get better quantities. Is there a price break point too that you can get from your manufacturer in China? So if you said, I'm buying 500, it's X price, but I'm buying 1,000, it's Y price, but I'm buying
Yeah, I
Y.
have all that,
So
yeah.
is there a bell curve where it makes the most sense? Like,
Mhm.
is there kind of a, I'm sorry, yeah, is there like a best price? Like, if you go to 2,000 units and you save a penny, it doesn't make sense to go to
Right.
2,000 units. But if
Right.
you save a massive amount more, so maybe it's pricing break points and also storage that I would pay, lay into that equation.
Yeah, most people though, what kind of dictates it is the amount of units that they want to sell. It's the same amount of time on logistics to get it from the time you place the order, but they're probably guesstimating that they're going to be at 30, 40 units a day, and that sort of usually trumps whatever the minimum order quantity is at the factory, in my
Right.
opinion.
And another thing, I mean, I agree with everything that's been talked about here, but the reality is we often get it wrong for that first PO. You often either underbuy or overbuy. And underbuying means you're gonna run out of stock, which sucks. Overbuying means you're going to be burdened with something that nobody wants, and you have to figure out how to either sell it or store it. And either way, it sucks worse than underbuying. So I personally, I've done the overbuying. I know the burden of saying, how do I move a product nobody wants? And I don't want to do it anymore. So,
But all the same,
so
go ahead.
the point that I want to make out is here, it's okay to be conservative on your first PO, especially if you do not have a lot of cash flow to throw around, because you're going to want to make sure that it's successful, and then you can make an informed decision to make sure you never ever run out again, just in case you do.
Right, that's why the first one is like, yeah.
I love to know that I need exactly 1,200 units on my first PO. I don't really know. I can make really good guesstimates, but markets are markets and things change. And somewhere along the way, you actually needed 2,500 units. Oh man, that sucks. Opportunity lost. I'm gonna have to make it up along the way. But worse would have been you order 10,000 units. And then what do you do? Right? So just, that's my only advice there.
You said there was a second question, or?
Yeah, regarding the Amazon influencer program, like, how long do you feel, like, I guess it's like any time you start, let's say you started a page on TikTok, whatever. Yeah, you need to like build, it takes time to build your followers, whatever. When you do the Amazon influencer program, how long do you feel like it takes to really start to like see like rewards from that?
Quick
It-
question there. The videos that you mentioned,
Yeah.
those are the videos that we see inside the Amazon website when we're purchasing the product.
It's very possible, but within the product detail page, you're gonna see some of them are like brand videos and the brand themselves posted. Some of them are video reviews from buyers. And then there's certain spots where you're gonna see reviews from Amazon influencers in the Amazon influencer program.
Or
And then you'll see a video
publish-
which might be
or
a
you
video ad.
publish the videos in your own platforms and they somehow redirect the traffic to Amazon.
You don't post it in your own platform.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I mean, you could, but that's not how you do it.
Okay, so you don't need to build the following in that case, right?
Correct, that's what I was gonna get at. You don't,
That's what I wanted to understand.
Right, no, you don't.
you should start seeing some commissions coming back. I would say like in the first few days, like it might take a few days for it to get approved, but once it gets approved, I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't start seeing views and commissions close to instantly. Now, if you review a product that has no search, right? Or you review a product that's not unlocked for video at the top, like there's a bunch of things that can happen that can hurt your chances of getting more eyeballs or any eyeballs, then there's that. But like if you're picking, if you have some kind of strategy towards the products you're picking, or they're at least getting a lot of eyeballs, and eventually you start improving and you put emojis and maybe use thumbnails and just some basic best practices, there's no reason why it shouldn't be almost immediately. And the last part is not if you do that you should, it's you will see it even if you don't do those, as long as you pick the right stuff.
Okay, a couple things, right?
Somebody throw him the mic.
I don't know if you got the answer to the question. I didn't want to.
Did it?
Did you get the answer to the question?
Yes and no, because I don't know, I put up videos and like, literally there's like views on them and like, it's been sitting there for like over a week and there's like 0. I'm like, am I doing something wrong?
Send it to me.
I will, I have my
Tom, send it.
computer, I'm gonna look at you, I'm like, I did some this morning, I'm like, okay, like there's views, there's,
Look, I would say, I don't know who else here is doing Amazon influencer program, but if I'm missing somebody, tell me. But if anything, send it to Tom, send it to me.
Yeah.
Just take a look at it in a second. We should be able to see it. But how many videos are you posting per day?
well, I just put 4 this morning and then last week I did maybe like, six or 7.
Yeah, I think it would be better if you just pick a number and do that. I'd rather you pick 2 a day and just do 2 every day moving forward. It's not, right now, don't think about batch recording. Right now, it's like you need to build up that muscle memory and you need to get your reps in as this is something you do. It needs to become a habit you do. I really
Well,
don't care if
that's
it's,
the thing, is it something where it's like, okay, it's like, you know, let's say it's Instagram, they want 2 stories a day. Is this similar? Is it like your feed?
No, this
That's
has
what
nothing
I'm-
to do with that.
Yeah, because
No.
once I'm in the mood, I want to bang out 4 or 5 of them, that's just me.
well, the secret sauce here is a consistent amount every day. Now, can you post just 1 here and 1 there and it does or it doesn't? There is some percentage of people, I've never met one, that actually goes to Amazon influencer pages and looks at other stuff that they do, and they go, oh, I'm really inspired by what this person does, and they buy from it. So like, but it's consistency. It is a bit of a numbers game too. If you want to do nicer numbers, you're not going to probably get rich off any one of these products. But
No, I know. Well,
how long are you? I mean, there's a just send the
no,
video
I
and I'll be
do.
able.
None of them are more than 90 seconds, and most of them are like 30 to a minute, like a minute.
Do you mind just
45.
sharing it with him while I'm continuing
Yeah,
this, and he can look at it, and then he might.
I'm going to. I wanted to listen to, but I was gonna share it with you.
No, I'm saying if you can send it to him now, and then as we keep going, he might be able to just see something, and if
Yeah.
he won't, he doesn't have to say the product if you
I
don't
don't
want.
care. It's
But that
fine.
way he can at least come back and say, I see this, I see that, and it'll be a little
Yeah.
more constructive. Because right now I think I'm just gonna like read a list of things that it could possibly be.
Right.
Yeah, sorry, you had a question in the very beginning.
I would just tell you, the first time we did this, I mean, my wife and I made 57 cents, and we looked at each other, we high-fived. You would have thought we won the Powerball, man. We're like, oh my God, this is gonna work. So we just kept on doing it. We each did 5 a day, but it's not hard to do 5 a day. What's hard is to do it every day, 5 a day, and then get it up there, so.
Yeah, like I could be real. I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna do.
I will say this, I will say this, and I feel like I'm walking on eggshells here, but I'm saying this in the most loving, respectful way to everyone. This is not for you.
Yeah.
My wife and I did this, again, because I didn't want to be hypocritical recommending something that we weren't doing, right? I noticed that if it was like, okay, 30 minutes in the morning, I'm gonna go record a few videos. Like, Tom gave me a big box of soils to review, right? I banged them out in like 15 minutes. When I finished in 15 minutes, my wife was halfway through her foundation or whatever it is she was doing. And it was this big routine that took her about an hour to do, because just jumping on and doing a video was not acceptable.
That's right.
Oh, okay, I'm not judging, and again, I'm trying to be delicate about this. I am saying you can make it as complicated as you want.
Well, no, I am not recording. Like I'm coming here to you guys. Like there's not. I'm
No,
not recording without me.
But my wife really wanted to batch record, but I can understand if I not needed, in case she's listening, but like, if I decided that I wanted to do an hour plus of prep before doing it, I would say, you know what? I could save 6 hours per week if I just batch everything into one. And I think that's a bit of a trap that I see some people doing.
Well put, well put.
Yeah, is that good? I'm safe? Okay, good.
So I would just recommend that you script whatever you're gonna script, record whatever you're gonna record, and then upload whatever you're gonna record. Don't, record a video, or script it, go record it, and then upload it, because then you're just kind of going on this
No,
hamster
I
wheel.
know,
So
I
try to
do.
do it batch at a time. Have you also connected your bank account to it?
Yes.
Okay, then you should be able to see your
And
report.
also, by the way, if you have the new iPhone, it's really amazing because there's an audio on the video.
Yeah.
There's an audio thing, because I remember the first few videos I did, I go, damn, my humidifier's on. You can hear it in the background. Shh. Like, shit. So then I go, wait a minute, and I go, and I did notice a long time ago when I would put stuff on Instagram, when it's brighter, I would get more views. So I always brighten my pictures, but now I have a new iPhone, I didn't even know this. You could brighten videos, but also there's 4 different things where people would have like, I'm going, what are they doing? Did they have a little mic here? There's a feature where you could just go studio in the iPhone video, and it wipes everything out like literally professional. I couldn't believe it. So if you have a new iPhone, it's 2 seconds, and it makes such a difference because it sounds so like bootleg when people are on the video. It sounds like they're on the phone like this.
Yeah.
Or if it sounds like it's pro,
Yeah, use the best equipment you have. I agree with you, by the way. I'm just saying for everybody else that just go with what you got and just go. And
Yeah.
eventually it's gonna you're gonna build on it. Hold on, he literally asked, he's raised his hand first before almost anyone, yeah.
So I am.
Somebody throw him the mic, please, too. Even though he projects good, it's more for the.
I'm gonna give it right back to you.
So I'm about to launch let's call it my first product, because the actual first one flopped. I'm trying to be conservative with inventory and budget. What would be like some best practices down the line to, save myself some pain in the future?
I think a safe one is don't spend more than 25-30% on inventory of your budget. I mean, there's so many exceptions, but I find that one to be a
Let's
pretty
say-
solid one.
Let's say inventory is not really a problem for me because I can sort it out super easily and low cost. Do you think it's a good idea to test it out, see how much it's gonna actually move, and then do calculations in terms of.
I feel like I'm missing a lot of important information. Like you're asking me about, like what you're asking me at first, inventory plays a huge part of, but then you're also telling me inventory is no question. So like maybe the issue is that you think inventory is no question.
Okay.
As far as testing, I mean, if you want to you don't have to share your product, but if you can give, it would help me if you gave me like a fake product and
So,
the
I mean,
real.
it's basically this kind of belt,
Uh-huh.
but as a collar for your dog.
As a what?
As a collar for your dog with a
Okay.
leash.
So a matching,
That's gonna go down the line. We're gonna start with the dog products first.
so it's a dog, we'll just call it a dog collar for now. Right. So you have a dog collar made in
Colombia.
Colombia. And the cost on that is almost nothing. Your Colombia MOQs are very, very low. Textiles is very good in Colombia. You're related to the factory or you, okay. So your source is good, you might get good terms, so I think that's where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you mind sharing your budget for this
Let's
venture?
call it, 5K around.
I don't think that's enough. Yeah, I don't think that's,
In terms of inventory or other expenses.
I've launched and managed a lot of products in the pet category on Amazon. The cost per click of advertising. What are you going to sell it for?
Around $25.
Not bad. That's better than the $9.99 I was fearing. But you're gonna. That's the 5K is gonna be. I don't know, 2 months of ads. Like you're gonna go through that 5K fast.
In terms of advertisement.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that's enough advertising, unless you're saying like, I mean, some of that's gonna be fed back, but not in enough time.
How much of a time frame do you think it'll take for me to gain traction and actually,
I mean, you should be getting traction out the gate,
okay.
but that's a ridiculously competitive category. Like it's insane. And the thing is, the higher end dog collars, I'm understanding yours to be more aesthetics as your differentiation.
Aesthetics, durability.
Right, but you can't communicate durability in a main image. So like, that's gonna be a wash. Like if this was an Instagram play or a TikTok play and you had your dog with a little loop dragging something big and it was like, and you'd even need a big dog, like you need video to communicate durability. Your main image is not gonna work for that. So secondary images, but the chances of someone seeing them is gonna be very slim. So it's aesthetics. A higher end dog collar, like it's the colors and the different aesthetics that are already out there for them. Getting a scroll stopping main image with a dog collar is going to be very difficult, first of all. And the higher end dog collars actually have like a very specific function, like shock, the spike ones, or like the pinchers. Runners have a lot of them because like they'll have one that's specifically designed for the runner to have something around their waist and be hands-free. Like those are the ones that go higher. In this case, it doesn't seem, I'm not knocking the product. I'm just like, I don't see how the functionality is even gonna justify $25 when you're sitting next to other ones. I don't see aesthetics. I don't know, that's my 2 cents immediately, just like hearing that. I don't know if anyone else wants to chime in on that. But I don't think 5K is enough for the ads in that.
For the ads.
And if aesthetics is the only differentiator, then I definitely don't think you're going to be seeing a lot of conversions in the first month.
Okay.
If you back,
There's nothing wrong with a product that the main differentiator is aesthetics, even in a field like that, it's really competitive. However, now what? You better be ready to have a year's worth of losses
yeah.
before you start seeing traction. So, is it doable? Yes, but you need a much bigger budget for that now. Similar lines, right, that can work with the same factory, more than enough. I mean, I'm sure you're going to be able to find something that factory can make that is easier to break into. But I would be careful with 5K for that product.
Yeah, unsolicited, you didn't ask me this, but like
No, that's why I'm here.
I don't dislike the idea. I don't think Amazon, the way Amazon is right now, is the best or easiest place to launch that. There are and there's one called American Dog Training. He got 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I met him at an event. He does collabs pretty frequently. He stole one of the speaker's water. Like, he does collabs regularly with people. That type of dog collar wouldn't really fit, but I recommend him to a lot of people, and he does what I would call like brand deals.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll plug it in his video, he'll drop a link, he'll act as almost the influencer, he'll make a cut, but then he'll send people to Amazon, so you can use something affordable to launch it on Amazon that's not Amazon ads.
Okay.
I would find several channels, YouTube, that would allow you to drive that traffic to Amazon, is what I would do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Using only Amazon ads and campaigns and keywords and everything, how, for a brand like his or anybody that's launching for the first time, the first brand, how much would you spend? Would you say the monthly or the daily spend is in a product?
Oh, wow, it depends. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're launching a product, if the question is what should your budget be when you launch a product,
Yeah.
I mean,
Like only
it should be
advertising.
whatever the number is that you decide, yes, I'm okay with this thing just sitting in my garage. And if you're going all in on a launch, it's everything. Like, it's the ceiling of your budget is usually what a launch is.
I know people extremely successful that do not run any ads, but they're on TikTok nonstop.
Right, it's like,
Organic social every day with as many different influencers and as many videos as you can, and they spend zero on ads, and they sell thousands of units.
yeah,
That's an option.
I hear you, like,
With one of my, well, this happened before the Amazon whole like IP complaints and everything,
Mhm.
taking all products down. So we had a brand with one of my clients. I do services for sellers. So I have a company, I started recently a company.
for sales.
That I do account health, inventory management services for sellers on Amazon. So I do like a three party first, yeah. So then my main job, I don't know if you guys have heard of Ecom Authority. They have this big, almost like a franchise opening for people that wants to open accounts on Amazon, and now they're doing Walmart. That's my main job. I do account health for over like 1,000 clients.
We get a lot
And-
of people from there. I mean, I don't know them, so I don't know if they're good or not, but we get a lot of people there that say they have a really bad experience.
Yeah. So now what happened was that the brands that we were buying for them now have IP complaints. Now they're reserved inventory. Now Amazon blocked their accounts because of the invoices, and they have inventory stock and everything. So it's
Yeah.
a problem. But doing this, I've learned about brand registry, and we registered with a client, a brand that did repacking. So we did like a product that is already known, but we did different flavors and different varieties, like variety packs, right? And for this product that was already known and a name that's already out there, we did almost like $100 to $200 campaigns, and it was number one. It was selling really good, but I find that being little for campaigns.
$100
No?
to $200 a day?
Yeah,
It depends. Depends on the,
it all
Right.
depends on the product. It's not like
yeah, that would be probably the low end of the range for a dog collar, but I mean, look, I'd say it's probably be like $250 to $300 a day, which is not that far off, is what I'm saying, but
Okay.
$250 to $300 a day, and he says there's a 5K budget there, like that doesn't, you can't go the month. And then let's say it all worked, right? Amazon's there's a rolling reserve on Amazon, like you're not even gonna have you're gonna run, you're gonna have to stop running ads. You're gonna lose all the traction you gained in that scenario that everything worked. And you're broke because Amazon's holding your money for, what is it now, the rolling reserve for some people, most people on newer accounts, like no, more than 2 weeks, like it's like 3-4 weeks.
Like a test.
And yeah, close to 4 weeks, like you're gonna be, you'll lose all the traction you just spent, you'll be left with zero. So like it's I love the TikTok angle. YouTube, I put that all in the same bucket of organic social. I love that for your product. Yeah. I love the Colombia angle. I love all that. I love dogs too, so I'm very familiar with the category. But I want to see it win. Yeah. You had a look like.
No, I didn't catch what you guys were talking about, like losing track. I didn't.
About what?
Whatever you just commented on.
They were actually, he's actually saying that you run out of money because you do your ads, but you're not getting the money from Amazon 4 weeks later.
Okay.
So the delay, Amazon's holding you hostage, basically, so you can't roll the money back over.
Okay.
That's kind of the conversation.
Okay, that's what it was. Thank you.
Stand for a bit. Yeah. That's really important too. Like if you're running ads off of Amazon, if you ever get into that, everyone's like, you're gonna need $5,000 for meta ads per month to do this. But in reality, it's really not that. Like if you're getting sales on day 3, you pretty much just need a budget that will allow you to go 7 to 8 days, and then you're using your own money again.
Yeah.
Right. Right. But here it's the reverse. Yeah. Oh, I want to make sure I didn't tell someone yet. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, mine is like entry level question. If you will Amazon remove FBM orders reviews?
I mean, Amazon will remove reviews from anywhere if they.
So it doesn't matter if that's FBA order or FBM order. If you received a bad review from FBM, will Amazon strike through the review?
Product review?
Mm-hmm.
Depends on.
Yeah, it depends on the review.
Depends on the review.
There's nothing different. Like you're not going to get the we take the blame for this because we're FBA line, because it's not FBA.
Yeah.
But besides that, I mean, if there's a reason why the review was not appropriate on FBA and the same in FBM, you'd be fine.
So let's say a shipping reason as to why the customer is not happy. If you got here too late and it's a product review, you could fight to get that removed, and it would be a legitimate reason to get it removed.
If that's a seller made a mistake and shipped the wrong item, how's that?
Yeah, you ship the wrong item, you get a
Should be
negative
able to
review.
get that removed, yeah.
Okay, okay.
But again, it's going to be very hard. Amazon's very stingy with getting reviews removed. So, but just keep opening cases and opening cases until you get it.
Okay, another follow-up question. How would you ship something glass, coming like a glass? For example, let's say a case of a glassed Coca-Cola, Coke. It comes like a case with all the individual glasses in the
Yeah.
case. How would you ship out to FBA?
That's a very, so I'm a very like pro glass, ceramic, porcelain person, but that's assuming that I'm in control of the packaging from the factory.
We're doing
And then-
wholesale.
It was a
Right.
wholesale.
The problem is you're buying it wholesale and they're selling you a 12-pack. We're using glass
Yeah.
Cokes,
Yeah.
right? First of all, multiple glass, anytime you add more than one fragile product into the same packaging, it's still doable, but you really increase the complexity of it, because what you need to protect one is gonna take up space. And if you need to do it for 12 in a box, it just may get too big. But like, for example, we used to sell like 3, see if this brand's still around too, by the way. I haven't looked in forever. We used to sell like 300K a month of this, these whiskey glasses called Glencairn. Glencairn. I'm curious if they're still around. We would buy this wholesale from the UK. They would send us, or Germany or something, like, they would send us pallets. We would get it. It's still there?
Yeah, it's still there and selling a lot.
Selling a lot, yeah. We would sell like 300K a month of these things. And what they would do is they'd ship on the pallet, it would be like these thin little cardboard dividers and these glasses. And we'd get them and we'd bubble wrap each one of them. But back then, you could play a lot looser with box configurations.
Yeah.
So, but we still needed to like wrap each one of those, like this glass that was like this turned into something like this. And to do that in a 12-pack, it's bad. Yeah, I don't know.
I used to do it a lot as well, just bubble wrapping everything. But again, you better have enough of a budget there in your profit calculations
for returns and brokerage. You
And-
know, that's what breaks
And
all
extra
the-
labor
and extra
and the
labor.
bubble wrap.
So yeah, you better have a lot of profit there.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be a, I think this would destroy your margin, but there's these cylinders that you can get that you could put a piece of bubble, get like a stick and jam it down there, sit it in, put it around the top, cap it, and and put cylinders, but I think each one of those cylinders is like $1.80. So like, you're gonna add almost $24 in cost to a 12-pack of Coke. That's,
I used to sell a lot of meats in jars, and
Yeah.
same issues, just bubble wrap every individual one, then bubble wrap the whole thing, then wrap it, and wrap it, and you still get a lot of returns of broken glass. So, I mean,
It's
as,
not worth
as a
it.
private label product, I love it. I absolutely love it. Like every guru will tell you to stay away from fragile products, but it's absolutely amazing if you know how to package it.
So one more
Right?
question.
You're like, yeah, right, amen.
Are you going to any trade show this year in Miami? Such as 2 years ago, you went to the food and beverage show in Miami Convention Center. That was 2 years ago. How
I
about
did?
this year? Yeah, you did. You,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
How about this year? Any plans to go any
If you,
trade
if you
shows?
guys hear of any trade shows that are happening, let's just say Orlando down, if I know with enough advance notice, and it makes sense for what we do, I'm totally game with creating a meetup on it and we all go do it. I've been more swamped than usual, I would say, over the last 6 months. Like, we just recently brought somebody on who is not yet fully up to speed on it, but who's specifically gonna be looking ahead for some of those stuff and like just running some logistics on it. But we have to, like, there was one that went by, which was the TPIE.
Orlando has a March 26th through 28th global pet show.
Yeah, pet show, I know.
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
so the Global Pet Show has proven in the past to be like 50% of the people found it impossible to get in. So it just turned into a bad experience for most people in the group, so I stopped doing it, but we used to do it a long time ago. As far as other shows that I have locked in for this year, I'm doing Craft and Commerce in Iowa, which is in like June or July.
Okay.
I'm doing PLMA, Private Label Manufacturers Association, in November. And
Are you doing Summit?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about Sub Summit. I feel like I'm missing one. Yeah, if you're gonna pick one to go to, I would go to PLMA.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'll do something big this year in PLMA,
Okay.
but. Huh? I am? You getting jealous?
No, buddy.
I thought the same.
No, buddy. Not jealous.
How much you weighing now?
Now, what are we gonna
Not
talk
a lot.
about?
I'm willing to be, I'm the one up here, you're hiding over there. Oh, no, you still got me.
So
You just got me. I just got to 285, so you're good. I'm catching you though.
entry level
Oh,
question.
hold on. I feel like, no, there's someone on, let me get this. Somebody on the
Okay.
stream asked a question a while back and I missed it. Can you ask it
Okay.
again?
We got
3.
three. So, virtual assistants for private little business.
Yes.
Okay.
So, okay, of the model, of the 3 main models, arbitrage, wholesale, and private label, a lot of the times we forget to bring up like merch and KDP and Amazon Influencer Program. But of the 3 main ones, the 3 horsemen, the first 2, you'd be very hard pressed to hold a full-time job on. It's possible, but I would say it can be once you have it firing on all cylinders. And arbitrage, I would say no, but technically you could have a bunch of buyers running for you and a whole bunch of team, but we're getting a bit into la land there at scale. Wholesale, once it's running fully, you could have a full-time job and pull it off, but you're gonna have an entire team. You're gonna need to get it to a point where you have an entire team to where you're even making money. Private label is the one where you 100% can have a full-time job or a career. Like if you love, you're an engineer and you also wanna launch a brand, you 100% can do it. You don't agree with that?
Things are changing.
You 100% can do it. You could disregard Ramon on that one, but so it sounds like this is the person that also asked how to build a team of virtual assistants. Right. So the 2 main areas that this person's gonna want help with, the one that's gonna take the most time is pay-per-click. So it's gonna be advertising. The person's gonna, you're gonna have to make a choice. Are you gonna learn it? Are you gonna hire somebody in-house? Or are you gonna hire an agency? Like, that's just a choice you have to make, and if you do the agency, all that's solved, but you bring on some other problems. Like, they all have pros and cons. If you go to hire in-house, you're gonna hire someone that you're also responsible for their training, and that's where most people neglect, and they get somebody who's kind of wah after the first 4 months. If you learn it yourself, you're investing amazingly into the future, and you're gonna be, of the three, you are gonna be in the best position later. Right. But you are gonna be in the absolute worst position now. You gotta make that choice. I did it and learned it myself. Knowing what I know now, I didn't even know there was agencies back then. I didn't know anything. Knowing what I know now, I would do one of the following. I would either hire an agency, but I would broker something with the agency and say something like, hey, look, by X date, I wanna bring this in-house as part of this thing right here. This needs to happen, and I have somebody on my team that's training alongside them, and the idea is to kind of pass them off, and I have some kind of program in place to train. But you need to decide whether to go with the agency and get it off your plate, or do something like that. I would probably do one or both of those. I would not go through what I went through to learn it again, to be honest. For that, I would also learn bookkeeping and Photoshop and how to do my taxes and all that other stuff. It's not my superpower. My superpower is product selection. So you need somebody to address the ads, and then depending on how many products you're gonna launch, I'm staring at you because you asked it on the guy's behalf, but depending on how many products you're gonna launch, you're gonna need somebody, and let's just say logistics. Like, if you're launching several products and they're all in different stages, somebody's gonna need to be communicating on WeChat, somebody's gonna need to be, dealing with shipping and customs and all that jazz, and like, where is it stuck at, and so says it fell off the back of the truck, I gotta track it down, and like, somebody's gonna have to deal with that. It's probably gonna happen during your 9 to 5. And you're not gonna get real-time answers if you do it in the evening. So those are the two that you're gonna want. Where you should hire them, the majority of my team, I'm gonna say, has come from Upwork. If they're a long-term position, like if I'm hiring for the role, not the task, my one-off jobs I hire, like freelance work, pretty much exclusively from Fiverr, but now it's almost all from LinkedIn, which we've done some stuff. I had some misconceptions about LinkedIn and the ads for jobs and how that worked. It's amazing. Ironically though, if you're trying to hire for the role of pay-per-click advertising management, doesn't seem to be very good at all on Amazon. So that's what I would say. I recommend checking out LinkedIn. I think right now, one of the best spots to hire for most Ecom jobs is not the Philippines. I think you're gonna see a lot more talk on that. I think those glory days have kind of passed. You do have a big convenience factor with the Philippines in the sense of so many people have been building over there, and there's so many trainings and stuff going on there, and it's like almost from birth, like when I get to X age, I'm gonna have my job and my career, and I'm also gonna be able to easily get into this side thing. Where some of the best talent is right now, the most affordable best talent right now is in Latin America. I'll debate that with whoever wants to debate it. Certain pockets in Latin America. You have some where if you take a couple miles this way, education falls off a cliff. But like, for example, Buenos Aires, Argentina, Bogota, like you're usually getting at least 2 languages. You're getting a bachelor's or a master's degree, almost guaranteed. And yeah, I know. I also just think a lot of the unexplored territory in e-commerce that we're gonna be able to like see a new gold rush on is gonna be in Latin America, so why not start positioning your team that way?
Okay. Another question about Logi, so it's a software.
Yep.
L-O-G-I-E.
For Amazon influencer influencer program stuff.
Any advice on how to use it once you first get it?
No, I don't have any advice on it. I don't have a lot of experience on it. I set up with it. I know the owner really well, really, really good people, but I don't have a lot of experience on it. I didn't get a lot of hits on it, and I was doing so good on the Amazon influencer program. The TikTok creator side does so good that it kind of fell by the wayside. But if you reach out to Logi and they don't respond instantly, and you DM me, I will make a connection with you and the founder of Logi, and that'll be done. But no, I don't.
Okay. Last one. Has a new seller realistically forecast initial sales to prevent over or under buying?
Prayer. No. I'm exaggerating, but like there is no, like I could get, we could talk about it, but it's gonna go out the window as soon as you, how do you forecast initial sales? I don't know. I think, how about, the only advice I would give here is don't do anything, even if you feel like you have to, that creates an extinction level event in your business. That's it. Don't make anything. Err on the side of, I ran out of stock. Great problem to have amongst all the problems you can have. Which it's rare that I agree with Ramon. I agree with Ramon on that one. I will say, I don't like the little thing he threw at the end was because nobody else wants to buy the product. No, I think if nobody else in the world wants to buy the product, you picked the wrong product. And it has nothing to do with the amount you ordered, but rather like nobody wants it. Like the issue is the person in the mirror. But in this case, like there isn't any, like just do not, whether it's from an Amazon, whether it's a wholesaler for Amazon, any orders you need to place, private label, doesn't matter. No matter how sweet they're making the deal, don't let it create an opportunity for an extinction level event in your business. That's it. Yeah. Between extinction level event, I'm done, and I ran out of stock, I run out of stock every time.
There you go.
Yeah. Every single time. Yeah. Those are the questions on the stream.
Yeah.
That you raised, about to raise? I didn't know if that was a half.
So I know you said you don't recommend right now arbitrage model, like reselling, right?
Yep.
But
Yep.
buying and reselling.
Get the microphone.
But
Yeah, throw the mic.
thank you. But if you had to, if you already have an account, you're already selling, what would be, I don't know if you recommended certain type of product that will still work, or a certain category that will still work? Like, is there anything that you think gets away still with arbitrage?
I mean, arbitrage will never, well,
Like, we don't know anymore. 'cause
arbitrage
everything is-
works right now. I'm not saying you can't go out there and find something. I'm just saying the very real risks, like, let's just say this. Receipts at stores don't work 99% of the time, right?
No.
Right. I say 100% of the time, but somebody comes back and says they just worked for me and I don't want to deal with it. 99% of the time they don't work. You're buying your stuff from a store. They give you receipts, right? Anybody that's going to give you an invoice for that stuff has shady inventory, right? Because they're not authorized to give you those kind of invoices. So your source of inventory and your livelihood of your entire business is kind of fruit of the poisonous tree type of thing. Like, it came from a poison source. I don't want to build a business on that. Like, so that's where I'm coming from. But if you're like, I'm just starting, I have a low budget, or I have a very low risk tolerance, and I want to start, starting is better than not starting, right?
Yeah, where I'm asking from more so we get like more specific. I have clients that already do arbitrage, and they keep on having their products.
You say you do consulting?
I do.
Consult them
Yeah,
to pivot out of arbitrage.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and
But-
they're obviously
if
have an
this is-
affinity for resale.
if this
Get them
is-
into wholesale.
If this is their whole business, for example, I have a client that has probably like 15,000 a day in each of the accounts.
Yeah.
This is his whole full-time job.
Yeah.
His
So
whole
it was
thing.
it was Blockbuster's whole business.
So exactly. So when the whole thing with the other company that I work with, the 1,000 clients, we actually have the office in Bogota with the outsourcing, the VAs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when this whole thing, brands and IPs happened, he started having his products also taken down, and he's like, wait a second, how do I get this brand back? Because I sell like 1,000 units a day. Like, how do I get it back? There's no way.
No.
nothing I can do with that.
Right.
But he asks me like consistently, how can I predict which brand is gonna be taken down and which is not? Or what category should I go with that is not going to have this? Because this is his whole model, so I don't know what to tell him, you know?
Yeah, so I'll actually say this, and then I'll try to answer the best way I can. And this is actually something, see if it even sounds good to anybody here. I actually plan on doing it the next time I speak at Toastmasters, so I might get a little warm up here. But I have 5 different, like usually I have about 5 different meetings that are like critical. I have a lot of them, but like there's 5 meetings that I have with myself, let's say it, that, it's really important. I've learned them from different people over time and put them together. One of them is a shutdown routine meeting, which is I need to somehow go from business mode to dad, husband, and it's a very difficult transition. So there's a process. So I have different things that I do. But this one, for the person that's making $15,000 a month, I'm assuming profit and not gross.
Yeah, I
Right,
would
but
say like
it's probably not. He's probably doing $4,000 to $5,000 in profit per month.
Yeah.
So that's
Between
$60,000 a
accounts,
year.
yeah.
Mind you, he just said that after losing half of his Amazon influencer business, that's what he's doing right now in the back, just for reviewing videos. So like, I want to say that I just happens to be someone that is a very real option of what I'm
Okay.
saying. I'm not. We were doing 3, and not even doing a fraction of what he's doing. Not that we're better. I'm just not saying that. But like, so one of the meetings that I have with myself is a extinction or put myself out of business exercise meeting that I have. And it's what are the things, who are the new competitors, what are the new technologies, and what is the stuff that has now happened. I used to say do this weekly. You don't need to do it weekly. I would do it monthly nowadays.
Okay.
And what are the things that happen that can put me out of business, right? If this person has that meeting, or if his consultant has the meeting with herself and then says, hey, the outcome of this is that this entire platform is shooting at your business, and it is a very real thing that you're gonna go from 15,000 in sales to 0 with the wrong IP complaint. What is the best advice you can give this person? And if you were that person, what would you do? So what I would do is I say, man, I'm not gonna go cold turkey from one day to the next, but I'm gonna start reallocating my resources that I put into my business. And I'm gonna maybe put 80% of what I'm doing into something new that is not having this guillotine hanging from a piece of dental floss over my head, right? And
the client, the big list of clients from like 1,000 Amazon stores have gone through Walmart. Walmart online with a bunch of
yeah, no, it's not good.
But I don't know if the same is going to happen. But
Yeah,
Walmart,
of course it's gonna happen.
Walmart is for sure more accepting at the moment.
How about this? The one thing that is for sure that it's not gonna stay the same.
Yeah, I know.
That's just, none of it does.
Yeah.
Like how I sold 15 years ago is not how I sell now. It's totally different. And everyone that did not pivot, they're gone. They're
Yep.
gone. They went from courses and speaking on stage to gone.
Even
They
the
went from there to NFTs to Bitcoin to day trading, and they bounced back and forth to,
Even the
barista at Starbucks, and like they're doing the circuit.
The
Right.
reimbursements companies.
Look, yeah, the reimbursement companies. Look at the Gatitas.
They're out the window
Yeah, look
because Amazon
Gatito went from,
implemented
like,
reimbursements. Yep.
Yeah, so like nothing is staying the same. So is them being at Walmart safe? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And if you need another view of that, get someone to evaluate that business that has capital and see what they'd pay for it, knowing what's going on. I wouldn't pay anything for it. Like I'd ask them to pay me to take that on. Yeah. So I would say the best advice they could give is, hey, you have this amazing opportunity that most people don't get. You're still selling. Like, where do you want to be in X amount of time? And let's build a roadmap on how to get there, because this is guaranteed not going to last.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about how things change and the need to adapt to these changes. I come from a technical background. I'm an engineer, and I'm interested to know what is your views in the role that artificial intelligence is playing and can play. You know, like practically speaking, what are potential use cases, potential ways to leverage AI for e-commerce? I know nothing about e-commerce, but you know that's where I come from.
Well, I would say the one that is going to change, specific to Amazon first, like, and that's half the e-commerce conversation, is I don't think people are grasping like how disruptive Rufus is going to be, and an AI shopping assistant is going to be, to where how we position ourselves in search and paid ads, like that's already happening. Think about it, like who here does not want, I'm not talking about a random AI that's selling you something. I'm saying who here does not want someone, let me see if I could tie these two things together. So Notebook LM, have you ever heard of it? I have no idea, by the way, some of these AIs, I don't know if they're great AIs, okay. But there's something called Notebook LM. And what it is.
Oh, yes, I know the one from Google.
Yeah,
Google, yes.
so basically, I can create folders and I can give specific subjects to them, and then I could load them with specific data for me, and then I can have the AI work with that data set, if I'm using the right word, right?
Yeah.
So I saw a YouTube video that talked about this person, one of their folders was all of their medical stuff. Their medical stuff.
Medical.
Yeah, they get blood work across all these different years, they got all this medical stuff, and they put it together into this one thing, and they do it. I recently, like 3 days ago, got some horrible news regarding like blood work of mine and a bunch of stuff. So I'm like, oh my God, like what's going on? And I started, like, I put all this stuff together. I also found out at 48 years old that I'm allergic to almost every food under the sun, which I wish I would have known that a long time ago, right? So even the person in front of me, they're like, we're gonna charge you $1,500 to come up with a diet plan. And I was like, fine, if that's my health, but I was able to just go in there, put it all into a folder, Notebook LM, and ask them. I was like, hey, can you create a diet plan out of this with all this blood work and all this doctor advice and these allergies in consideration? And it put something together for me. And I showed it to the doctor. The doctor was speechless. Like, what could they say? You know? I'm not saying it replaces a doctor, but who doesn't want an assistant like that?
Yeah.
So wouldn't you not want one that actually knows what you like and how it fits you, and what would look best in your kitchen and would not take up more space than you had, a personal shopping assistant, that when you go to buy some ink for your printer, it tells you, hey, you know it's not compatible with the HPs that you have, right? Like, how much returns would get cut down? Like, how much less is in the landfills? I mean, a personal shopping assistant, everyone would want it. The one that Amazon has is just insanely good.
Rufus, right?
Right. But the way we would position products to sell would completely change when this thing fully comes into force and people start adopting it more. So that would be one. Another one is going to be, I think, I don't know if I can say this one right, and this is just to me like a gut from doing this for so long, an opinion, is I think the more we go towards, there's no stopping AI right now, like as far as it is, and I don't think it should be stopped, but like there's none, right? But I think the more we go towards that, I don't see anyone going into AI asking to create something lopsided or imperfect. Everything's perfect, right? Everything is kind of like disconnected from humans and community and stuff like that. I think personal touch, imperfections, things that are blander or basic, I think are going to be more like refreshing than the perfect, glitzy, glamorous thing that everyone goes for now that they have AI. Yeah, but you know, it's going to impact us in ads. Like, there's a lot of software out there right now that just says our AI can run your ads 100%. It's not true. Like, it can't. Like, you still need a bunch of humans. There's still a lot of other factors, but the other things that I've seen AI do, there's no reason why it can't at some point take all those things into account and do it. But that sounds good, right? But what does that do if everyone is their best and their most competitive? Doesn't that raise your cost per clicks? Like, if the competition increases? So I think ads could become cost prohibitive, and that might be why we're seeing a rise in like UGC and real people, influencer creators and imperfect people doing unboxing, and like, I think that's why that's working. So I think those would be the three main things that I would say. Anyone else want to chime in on it? That's a pretty, coming from an engineer, I don't expect anything less, a deep question, and that's what is the impact you see in e-commerce for AI?
In terms, because you mentioned the Amazon using an agent to help with the selection of the products and all of that, and that's happening. That's all going to happen. But I'm thinking, like, from the perspective of a individual seller, like, how do you leverage AI? How can you add value? Find ways to create and to add value.
Oh, in
to the
product
products that you
development.
sell?
With product development, it'd be great.
So that will be private label, like you can create basically you can use AI to create an entire label for you.
So there's one called
marketing
Operator right
materials.
now.
Eh?
There's one called Operator by ChatGPT that I'm using.
Not familiar with that one.
It's their, what would you call it?
An assistant.
It's an assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an okay. So somebody in the group said, hey, you mentioned in last week's meetup that if we gave you an arbitrage hit list of products that was done with online arbitrage and a wholesale one, that you'd ask Operator to go in with a certain set of criteria, it did it in seconds. So any product list, normally you'd want to get a software to scrape a site and put it together and then it would match it with the product on Amazon. Operator's not limited by that. Operator just could get the site and put it in a sheet and go match it on it, and do all that work in minutes, and it was 100% accurate. So
It's gonna be highly disruptive, not just in private label, everywhere, everywhere. Wholesale model. Well, in a wholesale model, you need employees to look at price sheets and go, this is a good product, that's a bad product. AI can do that very easily. In research for product development, fairly easy. In the UGC movement that's happening right now, I think it's going to get disrupted by AI because there's going to be so much noise created by all those AI influencers that are out there. It's going to be very, very, very noisy out there with AI influencers. So it's going to happen everywhere.
Deep seek.
yeah. Keep them questions coming, they're good.
What was the AI tool not Rufus?
Operator, well, two I mentioned, one was Google Notebook LM.
Notebook LM.
And OpenAI,
Yeah.
ChatGPT has Operator.
Now,
I'm also using Gemini a ton, like if you, for work, like we bring everything, we use Google Suite, like Google products, and they have their Gemini, which has been fantastic.
Personally, I started using Grok 3
Yeah.
from
Elon.
From Elon. Grok 3 is
Good.
another level. Yeah.
I've heard from somebody that Rock 3 was the best when it came to getting breaking news and turning it into something applicable for your thing. Whereas if I went to ChatGPT and I was like, oh, I just saw the announcement that the president of Panama and Trump, whatever. ChatGPT would give me something, say within a couple hours, that was, you can find anywhere. Whereas Rock would put something together that was like much more cutting edge with much more like real time information. It was more instant.
From what I've read, it has to do with the power of reasoning that Grok 3 has that doesn't compare with the previous models. And the power of reasoning, you can see that, you know, when you ask it to do something that is complicated, like mathematical reasoning, or maybe create an entire brand, or maybe create a website from scratch. If you ask simple tasks, any model can do the same, and you're not going to see the difference. But if you ask something really complicated, then you see how it differentiates from the others.
Yeah, I can see that. Ting, you have one?
Yes, this is back to basic question.
Oh, it's 90% the basics. Yeah.
Okay, for wholesale opportunities, if we found a brand is not popular and on their listing average less than 50 sales a month, and we talked to them and then we wanna do business with them, who would you go in? If their brand is not that popular.
Are you the only one that's going to be selling on the listing?
Probably like less than 3, and then they're on the listing, and they are there's like a.
So you're going to get 6 sales a month? I mean, is it 6 sales and you're making $50 to $100 profit per sale?
That's it. That's the question.
Like how much are you making per sale? I don't mind selling 2 a month if it's a very easy 2 with almost no return rate and a high profit margin.
What's your KPI? Like how much profit per product, profit per day do you want to make on this SKU? You're going to buy this SKU, you're going to care for it, you're going to supply supply, it doesn't matter whether you're selling 2 or you're selling 100. The question is, how much profit are you going to be making per day on that SKU? So if it doesn't survive your KPI of this is the minimum amount of profit I'm willing to make on average on a 30-day time scale, then it doesn't matter, right? If it's 50 sales a month and you're making, you're only taking 10 of those sales, but on every one of those you're making $50 in profit, then that's a $500 profit SKU per month, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's bad math, but.
Because for the wholesale opportunities, when I see if this brand is too popular, it's a very nationwide or as medium level knowledge of people, the popular, and if for someone like us to talk to them, they probably don't even take us seriously. Do you know what I mean? Unless it's who
They're
we're
selling
looking
50
for.
units a month. I mean, maybe they don't deserve to be talked to too seriously. And you're gonna get 6 sales a month. Like, I mean, that's, I don't know, if there's a longer term thing there, like if I get in on this one, it's gonna open a door for something else. I guess that's a conversation, but if I'm gonna make not much and I'm gonna sell 6, but I'm also gonna have to, I don't know how much time am I gonna need to put towards, is it difficult to reorder from them? Is it like, what's going on? Yeah, I wouldn't, I think Ramon said it good, like, if it fits your criteria, do it. Everyone's criteria could be different, but it doesn't seem very wow. You don't even seem wowed by it, actually, when you're telling me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And another question here. For a listing that the weight of the product is wrong, or if the actual goods that says like a 3 pound, but on the listing they calculated and there was only like a ½ pound. So when we shipping, is Amazon gonna recalculate in their back end?
They're still gonna charge you the 3 off of what's there, and you're gonna have to get a hold of Amazon and have them fix it.
Oh, but we are just selling off the listing.
You still should be able to have them go do a Cubiscan for the product. It's a bin check, yeah.
Can you order a bin check if you're not a landowner?
Yeah, I don't think anybody can order that, yeah.
Okay.
You have like
Yeah.
20 a month or something.
Yeah, you need to let them know that, and then they'll give you that money back.
Yeah.
That they will.
Oh, okay, because
But yeah, that's a big difference, 3 pounds to like, what was that?
it was the
About
big
$1.50
difference,
per-
yeah. Because we are getting, we're actually, they put on the listing, it was like a ½ pound, but the actual product is 6 pounds, 5 pounds, so we were kind of getting more money if we don't say anything. But if we tell them, they're gonna charge us more, so we're gonna get, the profit will be lower. You know what I mean?
I like more profit, I'd probably be quiet.
Okay.
Until you get caught.
There used to be, I mean, maybe it still exists, and I just don't do merchant fulfilled anymore, but there used to be a few sweet opportunities you'd get into for like merchant fulfilled products that the customer would pay like $6 and, they pay $6 in shipping for 1 unit. But it was one of those products that most people ordered like 8 or 10 at a time, and you'd be like at $48 to $60 in shipping for something that was gonna cost you like $6 to ship. And you were like, you're not gonna go in there and fix your shipping. I don't know, it depends for how you feel about that.
We get some.
Ethically, but like, every now and then you'll get someone that just fillets you on a negative review, like, I paid $60 in shipping for this thing, and it fits in a small poly mailer.
We get some wins.
And I'm like, yeah, I put my kids in private school.
We have some cool wins with, we sell some stuff on like eBay and stuff, and I don't know how they calculate the shipping, but we sell a very heavy kitchen item, just a resale item. And it's a win for us if someone buys in like Florida, because then the shipping is like $60, but we spend like $10 to get it.
Yeah. What else you got?
How easy to hire a 3PL?
Oh, very easy. Maybe.
You're paying. You're coming in with a position of power. You're the one that's deciding whether you want to work with them or not.
Yeah, they'll flood your inbox for your business.
Yeah.
What's your standard for you? Okay, we are ready to 3PL.
High standards.
Where are you we still in between to consider if we're gonna hire 3PL to fulfill here, so
You're deciding whether you should hire a 3PL or do it yourself?
yeah.
I know a lot of stuff about you guys, because we talk a lot. My answer for you guys would be go to a 3PL, like, no questions asked. Just in general answering that, I think one of the things would be like, how much time does somebody have per week to put into their business, right? If you're on the lower side, if you're doing this full time, there's some, there might be some possibilities you do it yourself, but if you're very limited on the time you have per week, almost every other activity is higher than you labeling and shipping the stuff out to Amazon FBA. So I would get a 3PL.
3PL.
A 3PL is third-party logistics. It's a warehouse that's willing to receive your products, hold it, and then distribute it the way you want.
But 3PL is like an acronym, or is it like the name of a...
Third-party logistics.
Third-party logistics.
You'll hear 3PL
Prep center.
and prep centers used interchangeably.
Thank you, Carlos.
Yeah, so like, from
Do you have any
I don't know how it
company?
changes nowadays, and again, it depends on the model you're selling. If it's private label, the sweet spot right now, and I know there's some delays, is pretty much AGL to AWD. Like, that, in most cases, that's what it is. Run your numbers, there's exceptions.
AGL if you're doing sourcing domestic?
No, it's China.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's AWD. It's still a royal pain, but it's getting better. I think the back half of this year, we can breathe easier. I think if you're doing resell, know your numbers. If you have plenty of margin, go to a 3PL. But if not, maybe you do it yourself, assuming you have time, until you're making maybe, until you're shipping out, I don't know, 2,000 units a month? Maybe, what do you think? Shipping out 2,000, 2,500 units a month, or until your wife's thinking she's gonna divorce you?
I was thinking like hiring like a couple like students to like just part-time or something.
But you have.
But they gotta go in your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, legacy.
I've had several exes leave because like box tape at 3 a.m. sounds like a shotgun going on in the house.
But that has
Yeah,
to
fucking-
say
sorry,
the
that tape
vendor
number.
is here. If
It's
the
loud.
vendor's in the West Coast, then how are you gonna do that? I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, but all I mean, look, here's another answer. You should, this is very general, but it's so important that nobody does it. You need to assign a dollar value to your time, right? You just have to do that. And are you really good at packaging and all that stuff there? Then what would you get paid based on the level of experience you had doing that somewhere else? Not because you feel like you're just $1,000 an hour person, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but you be $1,000 an hour person when you're doing your thing. When it comes to packaging boxes, what are you? Assign that dollar value, and then, say, should I be doing boxes or should I be doing something else? But it's really gonna stem down to that. And you wanna be doing more activities in your business that are your big money activities, your highest ROI activities.
Yeah, so, another, scenario, if you can give me your honest, opinion on.
Switch seats.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going crazy.
So.
Her evil twin.
No, you gotta know.
Yeah, so I have another client, manufacturer of microfiber, and he owns the microfiber like farm company manufacturer in France. So he already had his. So I do every type of like thing that Amazon sellers don't want to do, and so I do like the opening of the account. I already did the opening, the register of his brand, the opening of the LLC, all that.
What does this have to do with the microfiber?
So this is the client, I did this for him. What he wants is to sell his product that he already has trademarked in Europe, sell it here. And it's like high-end comforters and high-end pillows, hotel. So yeah, so then I did the market research for him, and the high-end ones, they're not going to place well.
I think 3 of the top 10 sellers on Amazon, period, are in that space.
Yeah. So then the
Who's
Beckham.
the largest top 10? What's the Pakistani?
Utopia.
Utopia is one of them. Like,
Yes.
but like, that's
Yeah, and then there's and since he has the manufacturer, he can also place lower quality stuff to come here. So then I did the research for that, and there's a bigger opportunity for him there.
Yeah, microfibers is a major China play on the lower end side, and on the higher end side, if your angle is, you said France.
Yeah.
Yeah, made in France is going to carry something, but as soon as you go lower end, made in France, you kind of lost the ability.
Yeah.
It'd be like getting your angle is to sell an Italian cheese board for $7. No, you kind of lost the whole Italian vibe. You know, so like.
Yeah. So he's trying to like place somewhere. He's not gonna sell $9 pillows, but like more in the middle than selling a $60-$70 pillow.
Middle's usually where money goes to die if you don't have a differentiator. Because you're like, I want you too high. I don't want. You're just trying to cater to everyone, not you. And I'm not saying, you can guide your clients, and you know your stuff, but like, for me.
What is the question? What are you?
So what I'm asking is, what his answer is. So if it is a good, like a saturated market first, where he already told me, and then how much, because he knows how much it costs to place the product and to bring it here, and he already has all that process set up, but is it going to work? I don't have an answer for him. I just have the answer of like analyzing it and then helping him place the product, but how much he's going to spend on marketing, how much he's going to spend on all that, well,
He's going to spend a lot.
Yeah.
Expect to take a long time. And if they're a factory, they're going to have the cash flow to be able to weather the storm until they get some placement.
I'm like cursed with product ideas. Like I have them all day. No, I do. But that's my thing, right?
Right.
So, but I'm like cursed with. I just flooded with them. So like, I almost went into that niche. If you wanted to suggest, and do your research and see if you like it. But like, if you wanted to go into that niche, product you could recommend, I'm not going to do it. Right?
Okay.
Is first of all, like every keyword around microfiber is very expensive and it's very difficult to narrow it down because you have everything from like microfiber cloths that you put on your car to stuff that's in the laundry space to stuff that's in like towels. Like it's nuts, right? It's kind of like you need to use the word gummy somewhere, and you're now under the umbrella of gummy because it comes from supplements and goalies there. You know, like so. I found within microfiber, like, and this isn't because of my Star Wars thing, but there's, think of a robe, but not like the typical robe you see in a house, but it started because I saw somebody at the beach and they needed to change, right? And they walked all the way from the beach to the bathroom to go change, and you can get the microfiber cloths, first of all, they absorb amazingly. But they're big enough to where you can put a robe on, have it off, you can have internal pockets, it dries, and it will allow you to change, have a set of clothes on, and put your clothes on underneath wherever you're at. I researched it. I even quoted it out from China, not from France. But it allows you to sell at a higher end, and there's the quality of the stuff that's out there is horrendous.
Okay.
But like, that would work. I believe it would work.
Awesome.
I don't know for sure. I believe it would work.
All right.
To make sure you get good reviews, I guess you get a sample and do an inspection. Is there any other steps you would do to make sure that the product is good quality and gets good reviews?
Well, a lot of product research, like understanding what the person wants. I know that's very general, but Amazon makes it pretty easy and AI makes it even easier to just go in there and rip all the reviews on a specific thing and look for patterns for you. But assuming you took that into consideration when you're developing the product, then you should be able to research your way out of most of the problem. Like, you know, if you neglect to discover that most people have a problem with the product because it slides too much, and you could have put a very thin little piece of silicone on the bottom to make it non-skid and tie into a cool keyword, that's on you. Like, you're gonna get negative reviews. Now, quality control at the manufacturing level, what I recommend is get your sample, you do not have the factory to send you a sample. You do something called a golden sample with an inspection company. You use BD Inspection, you use V-Trust. The golden sample is they're gonna get 3 samples from the factory. One of them they're gonna send to, it could be more, but one of them they're gonna send to you. One of them, their engineers or their mad scientists, they're gonna break this thing open, they're gonna look at it, they're gonna see what it's made out of, they're gonna see the quality of the parts, and they're gonna catalog everything. And the other one they're gonna keep as a golden sample, so that future orders, when you send them in to do a pre-shipment inspection, they have something that is approved by you to compare that, hey, this is what you ordered and why. If not, it's all kind of a waste of time. Like you're just doing it because you're thinking you psychologically need to check this box and that means you did your due diligence. But like, if you do that, there's really no reason why you don't receive the quality product that you want. It's not as big of a problem unless you skip some of those steps in the name of saving $350.
Yeah, 2 questions. First is just a beginner question. So with a PL, and we're sending in like pallets, should we send in, is it advantageous just to send, say we're sending in like 3 pallets, should we send one into the East Coast, Central, and West? Or should we just send all into the East to save on shipping costs? Or whatever.
Does it even allow you anymore? Yeah.
So just send it into the closest facility and then they.
Yeah. I mean, if they weren't gonna distribute it, you definitely want your inventory distributed as nicely as possible throughout the US. But they're gonna distribute it, so yeah, I would send it to the center that gives you the best. You have an option to send it to a few centers, and send it to the one that you save the most.
Lowest, right, okay, gotcha. And second question,
Unless it's gonna cost you 4 months to check in, then I pay more just to get it checked in and sell it faster.
Yeah. And then second question, just a fun question. For you, how do you look at maybe like PLs or just your general business overall? Do you prefer to go more wider and shallow to like minimize risk in your businesses? Or would you rather like condense that to like 1 or 2 things and go really hard and that'll be your big profit centers?
Yeah, I go inch wide, mile deep, like, and the other part you said about profit centers, and only 1 or 2 of the SKUs being, that's almost for everybody though. Like everyone has like some hero products. Like not every product is a hero product, but like I would go an inch wide and a mile deep. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Like just any businesses you're touching. Like say you have like 5 PLs. Would you rather do 5 PLs at XYZ profit, or would you have like 1 or 2 that are like the same profit, but it's just that condensed into 1 or 2?
Wow. So in practice,
Stumped you.
Well, I'm thinking to answer it like how I'm thinking now, but that has how I've been the majority of the time that I've been selling. So I'm kind of like, I don't want to be a hypocrite, and then I should answer how I did it. So I'm trying to think of the best way to answer this. I've always done too many things. So let's say that. So, I've always done too many things. I am trying to now. I don't know if that's just because I've hit some of the wins. Kids now, I'm older, my risk tolerance has changed. I don't know what all those factors are, maybe it's all of them. But I am trying to do less things now and focus a lot more on what I'm best at. Having said that, I mean, I love the idea of 5 different brands at 70%. I wouldn't like give up 3 of them just to have 2 brands at 90%.
Yeah, they like
Check.
spread the risk a little bit, or maybe.
Okay, but I think I know why this question bothers me. So I don't think brands are as risky as we talk about. Let's not, okay, I know why this is irking me. So I think the risk, whether you have 5 brands or 2 brands, is the way most people do private label on Amazon. And that is they source a product. First of all, most people don't source products, right? Then when they do, they source a product that most other people are selling. So that's a Me Too product on top of it. So another massive problem. And then their idea of a launch is, I'm going to turn ads on. Right? That's not a launch, you just turn ads on, right? But we just use the word launch, right? So like, that would be like a rocket ship, and the lights turned on, and everyone's like, why isn't it going up? You know? So like, does that sound risky? Like what I just described, right? It is, it's very risky, and that's what most people do. So for me, spreading that out would be, and this is what I would do like right now, I would build, I wouldn't be in this mad rush just because I got super inspired here on a Saturday. Like, I wouldn't be in this mad rush to just like, my goal is by Monday, I'm locking something in on Alibaba and I am gonna place my order. I'd build an email list. Like, nowadays it is ridiculously easy to do that using something like Kit or a Creator Network or a lot of other things. But I would build an email list. I would seriously consider starting, even if physical products is your thing, I would seriously consider selling a digital product to start. Think about it. We just said ads are going up. Don't put blinders on and be like, no, I'm gonna be a real PL seller. I'm just gonna do PL. No, make money. Like, that's why you're doing this. So if you're gonna sell ice cream, I wouldn't recommend you sell an ice cream scooper, but if you decided you want to get into that category, create a course on how to create homemade ice cream, have an upsell on how to make homemade whipped cream, and sell it, right? And create emails on how to do that. Like, I would do it. And you know what? It's not gonna work out the gate. It's gonna start working. You're gonna build a brand. You're gonna build that. There is no rush to go launch this thing that's super risky. And then with that, it may change completely the product that you want to launch. But you've actually built something that's a lot closer to a brand and not a PL, right? Pick a social platform. Don't pick all of them. And figure that out. You actually are working. It's just the way we're kind of programmed as PL sellers, because that's how most people have done it for so long and could get away with it, is you feel like you're not working because you're not sending money. You're not sending a wire transfer, you're not dealing with like, just like, that's what I would do. I would do that over. And you would be positioned so flipping amazing by this. Everyone would be like, oh my God, you're just like some prodigy in brand. You know what I mean? That's what I would do. Like, and you know what your risk would be? Almost nothing compared to most sellers.
Unfortunately, I'll have to agree with the last sentence that Carlos did.
Just say the whole thing.
Yeah. Ultimately, things have changed in Amazon. The idea that you're just going to throw this product up and that product up and you're going to make a little bit of money here and a little bit over there and you're going to diversify along the way, that idea is just quickly fleeing out of the world of Amazon. What works today and what's going to work 5 years from now is going to be who's your ideal customer and which one is the best product that you can serve that's going to have the best product market fit for that customer. And once you identify that, you have identified your hero product and you go all in on that. And then you can expand out of that, right? But it has to be more like, who am I serving? What is the best solution I have for them? And go from there. And rather than worrying about like diversifying, worry about getting that perfectly right. And risking being wrong, right? Doing all the things he talked about is going to help you diversify or understand where the risks are, understand how to better serve them, and from there you can move on and just mitigate that risk. But you gotta get behind that mindset of, let me put these 5 products up. No. Let me serve a customer and go from there.
Yeah, and then you do that with one brand and you have almost no risk. You don't need the 2, the 5, and no. Just one and go all in.
Mm-hmm. Thank you both.
Yeah, can you toss
Excellent.
it over to John, please? I thought you were going to get bopped in the head on that drill.
Isn't it really the conversation about making a market? Because if you're creating a buzz and you're already understanding the client by either creating a social media platform or you're creating a buzz like ice cream, how to make ice cream, you're going to stumble into a product that you're going to find that you're creating a market because, hey, here's how you make ice cream. And then you start leaning in, you can find out what people are interested in because now you have followers, you're taking actually the risk off the table because you're not just going in blindly going, hey, I'm worried about this competition. You're creating a brand and a market at the same time to gingerly come in there and make it more applicable.
I agree with all that. the word, not to mince words, the word create, right?
Yeah.
You won't create the market.
You don't create a market.
Right.
You
Market's
create a
there.
community.
Yeah.
You create a community,
Yeah.
but the market.
You've just decided to say, you know, like there's, as a kid, there was rock collectors. People did the little rock exploring, like the little, what do they call them?
There was pet
little
rocks.
geologist sets.
It was, oh, you're talking.
Like little geology sets, right? You know how many adults are into that? Right? Would be into that? But somebody decided to say, what the heck, I'm into that. And my buddy saw me messing with rocks, and he thought it was cool. And I bet you there's other, and he created a Facebook, let's say a Facebook group, or decided to put a post out there and said, like, this is what I'm doing, and I found this really cool thing, made me think, and one's like, oh my God, that's so cool, I want to do it. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. So they got the same little geology set, and instead of having the little Fisher Price swipers, maybe they got one of a little better quality. And now they have adult geology sets. So like, that person didn't create a market. He just identified that it was out there and decided they were going to cater to it. So the only word there would be create. And I know I'm kind of mincing words, but I think it's important because if you go too far down the I'm going to create a market, it can trip you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Well, I got to
There we
pick
go.
him. He dances better, huh? Better salsa dancer. We're going to rate this by. Yeah, we're going to rate this by salsa dancer.
No, but I think that is interesting because that takes us into kind of in a segue in a different direction, like kind of doing a little bit of soul search. What are your passions? You were talking about your, what was the word that we're using? Your strengths. Your strength.
No, but I like passion too. Passion.
Right.
I like to sell things I'm passionate about or would like to be passionate
Yeah,
about.
but what are the things that you're strong about? What is your superpower? That is a word that was used before. So what you just said, I think it gives me the idea of it is good to niche down, especially when you're starting. Focus on your ideal customer, focus on that community. And that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, it really is. It's just if this was a digital marketers group, everyone would be finishing each other's sentences on here. But with course creators, digital marketers, and e-com sellers, there seems to be this big divide, and like vocabularies don't really carry over too much. But so in the Amazon world, that's not how you do it. You just get the product and you put it up there and you find a whole bunch of people to leave you fake reviews and you trick the algorithm by doing blank, and that's it. And there's this formula out there, and you know what? It's worked for a long time, right? It really has.
Yeah.
And it's just, so now when you hear this, you're like, whoa, wait a minute, like that's, no, you don't know what you're talking about. But it's easier.
Yeah.
It's much easier to do that. And yeah, so I want everyone in here to crush it. I really do. And so like that's why I share that. Like that is the easiest way to do it. That is where you're gonna make the money. And nowadays, the luxury of ignoring that, if you're not doing this and you're starting a private label brand, I think the likelihood of you still being in the game a year from now, definitely a year and a half from now, but a year from now is done.
Yeah. So I didn't ask a question, but I had one in the back of my mind. So does it make sense to, as we are starting, to invest in building that community, or at least hooking up with an already existing community?
Both.
Identifying your ideal customer, identifying what are their needs, what are the things that they
Yes.
that they resonate with, even before launching the first product.
Oh, absolutely, before launching the first product. But yes, you do. But the word invest, just to clarify, we're avoiding extinction level events. Whatever your budget is, we're not going to use, like, for the purposes of what we're talking about, there's no reason why you should spend a bunch of money to validate and get things going. Nowadays, it's just not.
Yeah.
So yes, invest in that. Do yourself the solid to get that set up and running right. You know, I can't tell you how many people are just like, yeah, I'm going to use the TikTok launch thing, and then they go get a product, and their product is like the caps, the non-floor scratch caps on the bottom of tables, and I'm like, how are you going to create an exciting TikTok video out of that? Like, if TikTok was going to be your thing, like, why wouldn't you have picked a product that does well on TikTok? You know, so like, there's a big disconnect. Like, figure that out ahead of time. You know what? If TikTok's going to be your thing and it's going to be, test it with your market. Do they find it interesting? Do they even watch TikTok? Like, there's a lot of stuff you can figure out that eliminates most of the risk. from this. And let's say you spend a couple months doing this. First of all, doing this does not mean you don't make money, by the way, because I did throw in courses, I did throw in digital products. You get together a group of people. What was the example I gave? Ice cream? Right? You can get some sponsors there's affiliates that'll be like, oh my God, like your list is my avatars and no one's ever, the geology set. Like they'll give away free there's real valuable high ROI activities and connections that you're gonna get by doing this. But if you do it, and let's just say in a couple months, it doesn't work, wouldn't you rather in a couple months know that instead of have a garage full of inventory? I don't even have a garage, but like have a garage full of inventory that your significant other is just looking at you and like you're depressed every time you see? I would. Like, or in Ramon's case, that nobody in the world even wants to buy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do that. Yeah, so I don't. And that is the way to do it. Like, that is a sauce.
One more question. What do you think about, obviously I see a lot of couples working together, but what do you think about partnering up with someone else that, like with a friend, like partnering and trying to complement each other and going together in a project and selling something and both of you are going to learn about that?
So,
or like pitfalls and highlights, what are the pros and cons?
Yeah.
Reading contracts is a terrible thing.
So, I would, sorry guys, sorry Ting and Chris. There is not, I have, let me say it, I have the most beautiful and amazing, in case she's listening. No, I really do. I have the most beautiful and amazing wife, period. GC, I love you. Right? I do. There is not a snowball's chance in hell that we are going to work together as business partners, right? She can inherit it all. There is no reality where that's going to happen. I think she would agree, right? I have, and you were there, so you might know this number, but like, I say it was 13. It might have been 9 or 10 groomsmen, and that's because I didn't even know that many people at the time. But my wife is a social butterfly, so she had what's the equivalent? That's
Quarter.
Right? So what's the equivalent that the bride picks that stand beside her? Not the maid of honor, the other ones? Bridesmaids. So she just springs on me that she's got this bazillion bridesmaids, and I need to come up with an equal number because it's got to balance, right? Groomsmen, right? So I pick my business partners and who I'm doing business with.
The janitor?
The janitor that's in. None of us are on speaking terms right now. We exchange lawsuits with each other. One of them is my brother. That's a horrible track record. Now, it's argued that I could be the common denominator, right? And that it's me, but...
Or it's every business person.
Right. I don't. I'm around a lot of business people, and they have a honeymoon period, and then they have this period, and it's kind of like, man, why am I... Like, my work ethic has me in the office at Christmas, but so-and-so is in Tahiti, right? Like... And in the great times, nobody's doing operating agreements. Even if you do, it makes the end cleaner, but it's still very messy.
You could argue it was also that you didn't know how to pick finance.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but people are here in a business thing to learn how to launch products. I think it's safe to say most of you don't know how to craft an ironclad operating agreement, and that in the height of both of you, the only thing it would probably take is an hour at Flanagan's with Helium-10, and both of you find what you think is a winner product that's going to put you in your dream house, and you guys are going to sign up on Sunbiz as 50-50 partners. Like, that's it. Like, that's it. And then a week later, no one wants to offend the other person by saying, hey, I think we should do an operating agreement and get legal, because if you screw me, I want this to happen. Like, that's what happens in reality. So for me now, so that I'm clear, because I'm biased here, you can see where I stand on this. You need to be a patent attorney if we're going to be a business partner, or some kind of like material science engineer. That I know that what your mind can do would be cost prohibitive for me to do as either a patent attorney or some kind of like material science engineer, or somebody that can do that stuff. And then we can talk, and then it's going to be such a crazy operating agreement. But outside of that, I'll just hire it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're not going to be,
So
we're not going to be
VAs
spouses.
is a solution then.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
VAs and AI.
I do think there's room for joint ventures.
Yeah.
You know, like we want to tag team a buy or some kind of biz op.
Yeah, that's more
But we
what
both
I
go
was
in. We
asking
both
about,
go in with
joint
our own
ventures.
EINs and some very serious rules.
Yeah.
I think. How about this? If you want anybody here that wants to get a business partner, first of all, just say no spouses. Sorry, but like,
We don't know each other.
yeah. I would say this. You need to read the book Founder's Dilemma.
Yeah.
And read. You could read just that one, but read the book Founder's Dilemma, and the other one is called Slicing Pie. Just read those 2 books, and then afterwards, you want to do a business partner, you just be business partners. Okay? They're about.
It said slicing pie.
Yeah.
Pie.
Slicing Pie. Founder's Dilemma by Noah Wasserman, and the guy the Slicing Pie. I don't remember the name, but
The audio books too.
yeah, audiobooks are fantastic.
I think there's a lot of value in house partners. I kind of disagree a little bit. I think
You can see the pattern. You can see the pattern in the whole group, right?
One
Like,
plus one can equal 3.
Yeah.
Right? The problem is that most people don't know how to do it right. Most
So-
people go like, oh, you know, you can install a printer.
so why are you and I not business partners?
No,
Because we're friends. That's the only reason. I'd rather have a friend than have a business partner, just in case.
Because why?
Just in case.
Because business partners coming, because you know what's gonna happen.
That being said, same question to the superpower. What is your superpower? What is the other person's superpower? If you both have the same superpower, there's no reason for you to be in business. There's no reason. Maybe you're a fantastic marketing mind and maybe the other person is a fantastic operator. There's some synergy there. Maybe something works. There is a reason why some really big businesses started with 2 partners. What? You have the Apple founders, right? They were 2 partners. Microsoft.
Who were the 2 partners in Apple?
Uh,
Jobs and Wozniak?
yeah.
I think they stopped talking on day 1, and didn't Wozniak
But they-
remove him from his company?
Yeah, they fired him.
Yeah, like they fired, Wozniak fired.
After I don't know how many years and a lot of success. But the point is.
What I'm saying,
The point is.
he pulled a coup on his business partner, he kicked him out of the company.
There is an ability to make it work. Is it difficult? Yes. But you just really gotta know from the get-go. Like, how do you really add value? Who's in charge of what? And don't do it because you're both excited about
On
it.
paper, that sounds good. At Flanagan's, after a few Blue Long Islands, that's usually not how it goes.
Rocket Fuel is a great book too. Right?
Yeah.
Rocket Fuel?
Rocket Fuel, probably one of my favorite books, talks about the 2 different integral people that you need in business. If you're thinking about a business partner, I would think about it again and again and again and again and again. And then if you really are settled on it, then I would get, what is the,
Life
test
insurance.
that we do? Personality test, what's it called?
Gallup Strength Finder?
Gallup Strength Finder. Did you
Yeah.
mention that?
I haven't mentioned it, but we do it. Anyone that we work, we do Gallup Strength Finder
It's
assessment.
like a 30-minute quiz about your partner's strengths and weaknesses. And you want to yourself too, so that you know kind of going in, this is what they are. And it's a very, very easy test to do, but it's really, really accurate. So that you know what strengths and weaknesses that he has. So if you're asking him to be a communicator, and that's his worst skill, not going to be good as far as your concerned.
Yeah, and your work ethics and your, it's totally different. And you know what? I just shared in the beginning that one of my hardest things is transitioning from like, my biggest goal, period, is I don't want to take my foot off the gas in my businesses, but I also want to be a rock star husband, and I want to be a rock star dad, a very present dad. Failing, well, I hope I'm not failing too. I'm trying hard, but it's not been I don't have a bunch of wins, right? So like, I try to come up with a routine to help me do this. If we were business partners, how would you do that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
No, it's just that sometimes I think that, big companies, they have an advantage because you see that they partner together, they have a lot of people, and you kind of you can build a teamwork. For individuals, it's not very common to do joint ventures, and as you're saying, sometimes.
Can you give me some examples of big companies that do it? Because I would argue that this sort of network gives you that advantage.
It's more powerful than.
I don't know who we're comparing ourselves to. It's
Yeah.
definitely not comparable to, it's like if Facebook and Google and Apple got together and said, let's create something cool. But I mean, who here is down with buying with invoices from a wholesaler that's going to make you $50,000 a month for a minimal investment. Like Michael's jumping out of his chair and like a whole bunch of people. So there's a whole bunch of business here that are down with going into a joint venture on stuff like that. Like you have that. You have that for stuff like this. You don't have to give up a percentage of your company to do that. And your life, like you're married to this person for life. Like
That's what I was gonna add also. So I have like the office that I manage. I go once a month to go with that. We pay them HVA that they already come with the knowledge and everything, and for them it's a lot of money. It's like 1,500 to like 2,000 a month. So that's how much they make, and they bring to you all the knowledge that you would have from a business partner without taking.
Right.
yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
It's Mike.
Well, to kind of piggyback on that, I wanted to ask this question, I was kind of waiting.
Can you throw him a mic?
Oh, no.
Sure.
Good catch.
Okay, so where would be a good place to look for clients to like, how kind of what she was mentioning, like working with Amazon sellers? So long story short.
For VAs?
Not a VA, like for example, someone has an Amazon brand or something, they know, or they have not an Amazon brand, they have a brand, they know nothing about Amazon and they don't want to learn it. And they're like, I don't know this Amazon thing, but then someone like myself or somebody else, you can manage it for them and then they'll pay like a retainer fee, I don't know, $1,000 or something.
You're basically saying just like.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Well, I have one client, but I want to get more clients. So I just don't know where to find these people. Like they found me. Like they found me on Fiverr. There was like, can you do this? And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, oh, the Amazon Seller Central stuff. I'm like, define stuff. And then we started talking about the stuff. And I'm like, I could do that stuff.
Basically,
you got to pay me for the stuff.
Any industry,
yeah,
like just how most service businesses are, if you're willing to do the unsexy stuff
yeah,
that someone doesn't want to do, there's money to be made. And if you have good customer service and you do quality work, you have something consistent. So like that's universal.
yeah.
As far as where to find those leads, I mean,
Yeah.
you're on Fiverr, that's great. I feel for that type of work though,
Yeah.
Upwork is.
Yeah, I've looked for them on Upwork. It's just like, and they're there.
The other one is LinkedIn, man.
I got to try LinkedIn. Yeah.
LinkedIn, get Sales Navigator.
Sales Navigator? I never heard of
would
that. Okay.
come up with a cool, I think, I have not done this, but I think you could use AI, a lot of different AIs. I'm just using a blanket statement, to just go into Amazon, or Jungle Scout has some of these filters, and go look for brands that have a whole bunch of resellers on them.
Oh, like a smart scan. They can do
Like that have gone like out of control.
Yeah.
That it's, you pretty much know, and you get to look at this listing. I feel like I could just glance at a listing and be like, okay,
Yeah.
you know, that brand has lost complete supply chain control.
Yeah.
Like if
I
it was
probably
up to
sell a
them,
bunch
I
of them,
bet you
too.
if they could snap their fingers, like all these people would be gone.
Yeah.
It's fairly straightforward to get that done.
How can you tell that from looking at the LinkedIn page?
No, not LinkedIn. I moved over to Amazon. Yeah, so on Amazon, you see eBay, same product listed 50 times. Amazon, one product detail page with a bunch of sellers.
50 sellers,
That are selling against that listing or an ASIN. So if you launched a brand of shirts, you'd probably be the only seller on that brand because you launched it. You'd have all the bells and whistles turned onto this thing. You'd have high quality images. Everything would be optimized correctly. And someone would look at this that might want to be a reseller, and they'd look at it and be like, they probably would skip it because they'd be like, this person's got their stuff together, they're doing great. The name of the brand is the name of the seller. And there's like a bunch of indications that says this person's running their show.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you could reach out, you could, but like the juice isn't worth the squeeze in most of the time.
Yeah.
Then you see, you know, Pepe's Hats. And Pepe's Hats has 7 sellers on it, right? And you see from clicking on their brand name that they have a pretty decent sized catalog. They got a lot of different SKUs going on. When you look at the resellers that are selling, they have an offering for Pepe's Hats on that listing, you also look in their catalog, or you could use a tool and you see that the majority of the inventory in their catalog is under 20, which means they don't have a consistent supply of inventory. That means they're doing arbitrage-like opportunities. They're not able to work directly with the supplier. Supplier has a leaky supply chain. It could be a bazillion things. But they're siphoning off inventory from Costco or whatever, and they're reselling it and making money on it. That brand does not want that happening, right? But for most experienced sellers, remember Michael mentioned he's doing this for the brand, but Michael's extraordinarily experienced on Amazon. He's been around the block a few times.
Yeah.
So he would know how to do that, but a brand wouldn't have a snowball's chance in hell of figuring that out.
Yeah.
Right? It's a very unsexy thing to do, right? Catalog management at the end of the day. So you could reach out to them and you could offer what you know how to do. And if you can cut through the noise, if your pitch is good, if a bazillion other things happen, if you can get to them, then if you're like, why would they not do that? Like, you know how to do something that they don't know how to do, and you're affordable, and like maybe you have a pay-per-performance model. Like there's a bazillion things that could happen. But that's how you would know. Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
Trade shows. Do you think trade shows are still a good place to find that type of clients?
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
Everybody's kind of on Amazon already.
There's still majority of trade shows I would say Amazon sellers are not at, but if we're talking about Pet Expo and some of the main ones, it's saturated with them. But I love trade shows as the best spot to go. PLMA is a fantastic one.
Yep.
Yeah, I would put PLMA as the top one because the brands that are there, almost none of them, they're established. They have factories and they also have their own brand. They don't want any resellers.
But they sell on retail.
They sell in big box retail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, but they don't understand how to price across different sales channels, and that creates a leaky supply chain. Yeah.
But could you find like a smaller seller there? Because I'm talking like, like small, like one person has like 10 SKUs. You know, and they're doing 10,000 a month in
right,
sales.
but remember, they
like
have one person
small
that
fry.
sells 10 SKUs.
Yeah.
It's in Kroger's
Yeah.
across the United States. That's fine.
Yeah.
And when their factory's not working, they want to do your PL products. So that's why they're at PLMA.
Gotcha.
Right. So it's
That makes
pretty
sense.
straightforward. You had a question?
Oh. Oh, yeah. Mm.
So what I did was like research the area and then actually go.
Oh, and then you just like, you find them and you call them.
If it works, it's a good approach.
Did it work? Or like you found clients doing it?
And you find it on local stores, you find the sellers of the area.
I mean, did it work for you? Like, did you call them up and then you got people or?
Yes and no.
Oh, okay.
I'm waiting still.
Oh, okay. Oh, but it's interesting. I never think of that. Very cool.
Okay, so kind of recap. If anyone has a question, we can still answer, but just kind of recap this. If you're just starting off, you don't have a great deal of time, or you have a small budget and you have a great deal of time, I still think the Amazon Influencer Program is a phenomenal way to start. We didn't get time to really get into things like the TikTok creator side, which there's a lot of opportunities that we're actively exploring that are actually paying, and they are really good. In some cases, they could be, depending on your personality and a few other things, it could be even much easier than the Amazon Influencer Program. So I recommend picking those up. I highly recommend that wherever your model is, I do think you should be, I used to joke with Ramon and call it evolving just because it's a friend, but you should be moving in the direction of PL, in my opinion, right? Like he went from Cro-Magnon bent over, like IKEA crushing to full-blown PL. I think you should be moving in that direction where you're creating your own brand. If you have services bolted on, whatever, but like you should be moving in that direction. I do think that you should be creating an email list for your product. You know, you should pick at least one social channel that you should be evolving. What do you call it? Growing. And yeah, I think for right now, and I do think while you're doing that, that you should stop thinking of yourself as just a, CPG or like hard goods seller product of widgets on Amazon, but you should also be bolting on some sort of, I'm calling it a digital product, but let's call it a course or something. The example I give is the person who sells high-end dog collars, actually, sells high-end dog collars. No, I'm sorry, well, even worse, high-end cat leashes. I didn't even know you could walk a cat. It's high-end cat leashes. All their sales come from, they sell a course on how to walk your cat. Can you imagine the people that do that? Oh, no.
Can you imagine a product?
Are you one? You walked it with a leash, a cat? I want to see it.
on, but the cat walking course, like the lady, the cat lady smock and stuff like that. for
Oh,
the
God.
evening. I mean, there's all
She doesn't wear a
kinds of,
smock. Oh, cat tricks. You know what though? The number one type of video that's viewed on YouTube is cat videos. FYI, so yeah, especially Bane cat. But okay, so I just think of that for PL. Start with an email list. Pick a social platform. Think of a digital product that you're bolting on almost immediately. Call this your validation process. It doesn't have to cost you almost anything. Do that, validate it, and then go into your physical product that is unique, and you have an audience of people that you can actually sell it to. And that your killer keyword on Amazon that you're converting on is not dog collars, it's your brand name. That's where you need to be. If brands are not doing that, I would say a year to 18 months max. If you're not doing that, I just don't see how you're going to be profitable just running ads. Yeah. Okay. Was there anything else? Anything else that in the recap? I think that covered everything, right? Yeah. All right. We have remember Thursday. Thursday 7:20. Well, for anybody that does want to come to Toastmasters, which I highly recommend, if you heard this on Saturday and you go to Toastmasters afterwards, if you have time and you want to, I'll treat any of you that want to Macondo coffee afterwards, right? They even have a drink there called the Carlos Plus, because I've been going there for so long. Our group actually started at Macondo when it got started. I'll treat anyone that comes to Toastmasters Thursday morning to coffee on me at Macondo after Toastmasters. And Thursday, you sure it's Thursday evening? Thursday evening at the Tank Brewery. I'd really love for you guys to come by to the networking event. And then we meet again next Saturday. For those of you that are new, between meetups, we stay in communication on Telegram. If you go to wizardsofecom.com/chat, it'll take you into our Telegram community. It's all free. And with that, thank you. That's it. No, it's not a meeting. No, it's not a meeting at Macondo. No, what I'm saying is, I met John at Toastmasters, which is a public speaking thing. So that's Thursday morning, but Thursday afternoon in the evening at 7 at the Tank Brewery, we're having a networking event. Yes. And there's going to be people from Wizards of Ecom, there's going to be people from Toastmasters. Hopefully we outnumber them. I'm not going to lie, I'd love that.
They were selling,
but let's make it happen. Okay? Thank you guys.
How
do I do this?
To do it on the document. And then there were a lot of listings that would say generic, or they would, instead of saying bathroom body work, it would say like BA and like the T was like a number sign, like some way that they would try to play around with the brand. So, and then all those people got kicked off. Or those listings are, so they probably got